This is Keeler in the morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Okay, good morning. We have a big day. A lot of stuff to get to. This morning we will speak with a district attorney in Utica County in regards to this latest decision to overturn the conviction of Caitlyn Conley. What will they do? And I don't think it has been made public as to what they will do, but they're going to have to know today because it's a hearing today.
Yeah.
Caitlyn Conley will be in Oneida County today, and you do kind of wonder, based on where everything is in this and was in this trial. I guess she's been in jail for about 7 to 8 years.
7 to 8 years, 2015. Yeah.
So the question will be, and now, by the way, there's a whole bunch of evidence. There's a whole bunch of evidence that cannot be admitted into this next trial.
And I spoke to somebody yesterday.
Yeah.
Judge Bauer and now Judge Nolan are both former district attorney employees.
It's going to be
I don't know that they would be able to oversee the case.
It'll be very difficult this is not easy. So a lot has to be weighed here, and the question will be if she and if she were to be found guilty of manslaughter, let's say, is 8 years in prison enough? And one would say that's not enough. However, you do have to look at the current state of prison affairs. And those who
people are getting a lot
commit
less time
crimes
for a lot worse,
and how much time they spend in jail. So I think that has to be a part of this. So where do we go with it all?
The interesting thing is, the jury pool is,
that's the other part
tainted.
Of this.
You don't go on social media and have something like this come up without half the people saying she's guilty, she did it, or the other half saying, well, she's innocent.
You will find it difficult, I would think, and I don't know a lot about the jury selection or anything like that, but I would think you'd find it very difficult to find someone who doesn't know something about the case, who may have no opinion. And you may be able to find that person that's like, I saw that, I know about it, I guess I really don't, I didn't pay much attention. I mean, that's the person you probably would have to find, ? I don't know. And that ain't going to be easy. So it's going to be interesting to talk to Todd Carville, the Oneida County District Attorney, and we'll get to that coming up at about 7:40. We have a special guest coming in studio this morning.
Oh, okay. And, this is a rarity. This is something that you booked that you did not tell me who it is. So
I'm going to tell you only this. The special guest who we have this morning will be in the 7 o'clock hour. And Davey, we're going to have a protocol here this morning. Have you given a heads up at your end?
No.
I wish you would.
Okay.
And I think that has already been done. I tried to do that yesterday, but if you can, a little bit of a heads up. Okay. So we'll follow this procedure, Davey. When guest 1 is in the studio, the mystery guest is in studio, this door will remain shut. When Todd comes, the DA, you'll bring him into the green room. When the mystery guest exits, they will exit to the right and head out. We'll then do news, the free money question, and then bring in Todd. All right?
Perfect.
Because I think that legally it's probably not best that the two
are you telling me Caitlyn Conley is going to be on the air this morning?
I'm telling you. Don't guess.
Okay.
All right. Please. We'll do it in the 7 o'clock hour. I'm very excited about hearing what everybody has to say.
Bill Morehouse this morning. Bill Morehouse, he always loves
yes, Bill, your lover, Donald Trump, will be here today.
No.
Oh,
he says, no retrial. Move on. She worked hard to cover up the murder. She deserves to be free.
Well, take it how you want.
Well, here's the thing, too.
She has spent time in jail, and it would be interesting to figure out what kind of behavior. And what I'm told is Caitlyn Conley was the librarian of the law library in prison, and that she helped other other inmates with their cases. And here's something else. I don't know this to be absolutely true, but I've been told this by a reliable source. She played a role, if not discovered, the technicality that has resulted in her conviction being overturned.
Well, and her participation.
Just let that sink in for a moment.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty big. That's pretty big. So just on good behavior, you kind of, well, wonder.
And in a way, too, she was very smart in participating in that documentary because it expands, as we were talking about jury pool or notification or notoriety or attention on this case and her situation. Her participation in that documentary kind of expanded that footprint of possible jurors.
It did, but I think a lot of people walked away saying that she looked guilty after that. Did you watch the documentary?
I didn't. I watched parts of it.
All right.
But here's the thing.
You have to watch
whether
it.
people walked away feeling that she was guilty or not.
You're right.
Taints their opinion.
It makes it more difficult for a jury to be able to select a jury, right? Okay, I want to tell you this early morning hours, traditionally in morning radio in Oneida County in upstate New York, has leaned, and you'll find it especially in the 5 o'clock hour, has leaned towards agriculture, right?
Yeah, people are up early, working
farmers,
on the farm.
They're out, they're doing their thing, and I have something. Now, the farmers may already know about this. I don't know. I believe this is brand new. This is new technology, and to me, it is amazing, an amazing breakthrough in science and money. Are you ready? So what do you think one of the criticisms is we're getting here? And Ben Simons, I wish I could. Can we grab Ben? Do you think you could get him on the phone? Davey? Yeah, grab him quickly. I'm going to hold off on this story. See if you can get Ben on the phone. And I'd like to know if he knows anything about this, but it is a really big story for farmers. Davey, no, he'll be up. He's a farmer. All farmers are up. Call him, man. Call him.
Well, he's got an attitude.
What is your problem in there, Davey?
Nothing. I don't have nothing. I'm just going through some stuff.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
you got to take a deep
taking it into the
breath.
show, and it's infecting
Don't
you.
bring it on to me. I'm the innocent victim here. I'm feeling like,
I
the
didn't say anything.
battered talk show host.
Yeah, right.
Don't you, what do they call that again? Don't you
forget about me.
No, not that. Not everything is a song. Between the two of you, I swear. What do they call when a man yells at a woman and tries to stomp her down psychologically?
Oh.
Don't you gaslight me, Davey.
Oh, gaslighting, yes.
Just get Ben on the line.
He was swearing and carrying on in there. You all right?
You okay in there? Your mic's on. Okay.
Hold on, I have the cricket sound effect.
Okay, here's some other stuff that while he's trying to grab that I pulled off here this morning that I think is pretty good. And as long as we're having a break, let's see if we can get him. We have the surprise guest. We have Hobica's free money question of the day. This morning on the phone, it's going to be interesting, former congressman and current Fox News contributor, Jason Chavez.
Chaffetz.
That's how it's pronounced, Chaffetz?
Yes, Jason Chaffetz.
Oh, I never called him that. I'm going to call him what I call him.
You could do that.
Yeah, I'm going to call him that. But
he's
you'll
got a
see
new
him
book out.
on Fox News on Sunday. You'll see him. Chaffetz is how he pronounces
Jason
it?
Chaffetz.
Damn it. Senator Joe Grifo will be in this morning. Mr. Grifo is, but on Chaffetz, you'll know exactly who he is when you hear from him.
Oh yeah,
and I believe he was a regular on Fox News Sunday for quite some time. Usually almost always taking the Republican stance. Davey, what do you have? What's the problem? What's going on?
No answer from Ben.
All right, so I'm going to just tell the story. So farmers, this is big and could be very profitable and could allow you to continue your current profits. Hopefully they're profits. New technology is allowing farms to install vertical solar panels without reducing and getting rid of their crops.
I'm seeing the photo there. That's very interesting.
So imagine how these solar panels, what normally happens is a farmer rents out for 50 years his land. And the solar company comes in, they place the solar panels. They're usually flat against the ground with a little bit of an angle, kind of tilting up a little bit.
Yeah.
Usually towards maybe the most sunny area. This would be like a fence that keeps neighbors together because it keeps them apart. A fence, like a privacy fence. It would go up and down, and it allows the farmer to still put their tractors through and cultivate the land, to plant their corn or whatever it is they plant, and maybe you don't want corn because it grows high. Maybe
I was going to say it would block the sun.
Maybe what you'd want is something that grows a little
Soybeans.
lower to the ground, and it allows farmers to still use the soil, because the one thing is these power companies for looking for solar are always looking for the most sunny area, and that's what farmers are looking for when they're trying to grow their crops.
And a lot of farmers are going by the wayside with their traditional farming to
they're making,
offer leases to the solar companies because the farming business is tough right now.
I just think that farmers can now say, wait a minute, I'm interested, but you'd have to do the vertical solar panels up and down. I wish I could show a picture even on YouTube, but I can't right now. Maybe I will in a little bit, but I think this is a pretty big breakthrough.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
At least I don't know much, but I think it is. That's good. Also this morning in the news, you saw that Canada and Mexico both cut enough of a deal with Trump to delay any tariffs for at least 30 days. China, however, is already in the middle of retaliating on their tariff. It's interesting, over the weekend on the Sunday shows, the author of tariffs, the modern day tariff, who really has been a part of President Trump's administration, actually goes all the way back to an attorney that worked for the Reagan administration. He says he can see tariffs going as high as 50 or 60% against China. I mean, that would be a real game changer. Davey, you got to calm. Take it for me. Take a deep breath.
Huh?
Deep breath. Deep breath.
It's nothing you two did.
I know.
My
I'm not
phone's
saying-
acting up. It says I get a text message from a different number, then it
I
doesn't
know.
appear on it, and then I get frustrated because I don't know who it's from.
Well, listen. What I'm saying though is,
Take
deep breath.
a big old deep breath.
Deep breath. Very important. Get
deep
that deep breath
breath.
in, because you're going to ruin your headphones, man. You're whipping them around and
Is he throwing them in?
Yeah.
I can't. Listen.
Listen,
I don't
you're-
throw stones in this glass
Let
house.
me tell you, you should keep your mouth quiet. God, I
These headphones have
I
seen the
really
counter
spend
a
the
couple
whole morning keeping these two calm. Calm yourself.
Well, think about it. If you keep us calm, you never have to get not calm.
Ben's on the line, Bill.
He is on the line.
Oh, all
That
right.
is awesome. I'm so glad we got him here this morning. Ben Simons is a great agriculturist, a great farmer.
Farmer Ben.
And it's on the line right now. Ben, good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know if you heard what I was just talking about.
Listen, for the record,
But-
we do know that farmers are up early, but
Well,
it's still early.
We hope you are.
Yeah, I've been up early. We've been chasing some heifers around this morning.
All right. So, Ben, have you seen the new solar farms that are being installed? And it seems like it's brand new technology. Instead of the farmer selling the or leasing out the property, he leases them with an option to place panels, but they still get to plant their crops. And because the solar panels are not level against the ground or angled there against the ground, they are vertical, almost as if like a stockade fence or a privacy fence.
Yep. I've seen some of this. I haven't seen it personally, just pictures.
I
and
haven't seen it personally either.
Information.
Yeah. But this could be a real
Well,
this could be a real game changer, because you could still grow certain crops and make the money off the land from the solar company.
Yep, it's another option that they're trying to do because there's so much pushback of the amount of agricultural land that's being taken out of production.
Yeah.
So they're trying to come up with alternative ways of still putting solar panels out on the open land, as you would say, to get the sun array. So it's something new that I've been hearing and seeing on, social media and everything like that. The other thing that they're doing too is they're also raising the solar panels higher off the ground now, so that people can graze animals underneath them instead of being right down within 4 feet of the ground.
That's interesting.
They're raising them up higher so that the farmer can still use it for grazing and such as that. But they're not raising them high enough to, of course, put farm equipment underneath them yet, because you got to be 13 feet high at least.
Right.
The height of tractors. And then the other thing is, by doing that, it still will affect the growing underneath those solar panels.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting the full 12, 14 hours of sunlight underneath them. But they are saying that they are working good in Europe for grazing, because, as you know, the sun moves across. It gives a few hours of sun underneath.
Well, at least these are different options that allow a new income stream for farmers, but also allows them to continue with their current line of income, and that is growing a crop or crops or raising animals.
Yep, that's exactly right. But you know what? The more discussions, that wasn't a proper English, but what's starting to get people's attention is like all the new construction, like buildings and houses and commercial buildings and car garages. You take all those buildings down in Utica that have rooftops.
Yeah.
And this is me as a farmer now, as a land conservationist farmer type mindset. But when people come in and look for building permits to build buildings, commercial buildings, residential buildings, if everybody wants to get a tax break of some sort, why aren't we applying solar panels to new construction on buildings? You're already covering the footprint of the land. So when you put a design of a roof on a building, whether it's a commercial building or a parking garage let's put some solar panels on top of these buildings.
Don't
You're
put all
already
the pressure
doing
on
the
the
footprint.
farmer. Yeah,
I think that's a great idea.
Great
idea.
I am all about, but I also want to say I am totally against putting solar panels on viable farmland, because once you take that farmland out of production, where are you going to get your food? You can't keep covering up your farmland.
And this is, these leases are like 20, 30 years leases. Yeah.
Correct.
All right.
But at the same time, I want to make this clear. At the same time, Ben Simons, a farmer, believe in personal rights of the land, too. Like, the farmer owns the land. He made a living on the land. He paid his taxes. He paid his mortgage. In other words, he paid his dues. He should be able to do what he wants with his land.
Sure. Yeah.
But
okay.
at the same time, we need to make sure that we're conserving our most precious, growing, fertile farmland, because you can have all the electricity in the world, but if you've got nothing to eat, what's that power worth to you? You got to have food.
Very good point. That's why I wanted you on this, Ben. I appreciate your time this morning and calling us back. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day, guys.
You do the same. See, he knows his stuff, and he already knew about these. Vertical solar panels might be an option, and you still get to grow whatever product, whatever crop you like to grow. Quickly, I wanted to get to this. Let's see who released this. I guess this comes from the state. No, this comes from the federal government, FBI, on counties in New York State with the most violent crime. Then this has been issued for New York State by the state. Who cares? Here it is. The most violent county in New York State, what do you think it is? It's Bronx County.
Oh, okay.
The second most violent county in terms of crime is Manhattan. But one of the things to note in 2023, this is the data compared from 22 to 23, which is now out, violent crime rate in Manhattan was down 17.75%. but still they rank number 2 in the state. Brooklyn is number 3. You kind of would expect that, I guess. This is based on per capita, so based on population. Albany County is number 5. Schenectady is a tough area. Schenectady, when it comes to violent crime, down 7%, but is number 6 on the list. In our area, do you know the number 1 county per capita for violent crime in our area? Onondaga is number 8 on the list, and it's down 5.78%. But I say in our area, Oneida, Herkimer, Madison, Lewis County, Otsego County. In these areas, who do you think who tops the list?
You got to be Oneida County.
It's Herkimer County.
Wow.
Herkimer County had 156 violent crimes in 2023. That's up 5.22%, while Herkimer County is at number 13. Oneida County is number 15. And they're down 12.8% in Oneida County. That's 22 to 23. Take it for what it's worth. Quick break. We'll do news coming up in a moment. Also, Tanya J. Powers coming right up. Pete Hegseth was at the border, and his first trip to the border. We'll talk about that with Tanya coming right up. Andrew has news next.
Get a smile for all seasons at Shulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry.
I'm Andrew Rosansky, inviting you to call us for crowns and veneers that will give you a beautiful smile that will keep you smiling year-round. Call us today.
Get a smile for all seasons at Shulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry, 1 Paris Road, New Hartford, and online at uticasmiles.com.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 6:43. I'm Andrew Derminio. Right now it's 30 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. A Utica man is facing drug and other charges after an investigation into cocaine distribution in the city. Utica police say an investigator with the department's Special Investigations Unit was able to obtain contact information for 35-year-old James Scheiss of Utica on Friday to set up a narcotics buy immediately after. Officers with the Crime Prevention Unit conducted a stop of Scheiss, who was charged with criminal possession of a controlled substance in the third degree for weight and also criminal possession of a controlled substance in the third degree with intent to sell and other charges. He's expected to appear in court to answer the charges at a later date. Onondaga County Sheriff Toby Shelley says there's only one circumstance where his office will hold undocumented immigrants in the county jail. During a news conference yesterday, Shelley said those individuals would only be held if he has a warrant signed by a judge. He also reiterated his stance that the department won't comply with detainer requests or warrants issued by ICE officials. Shelley believes following those requests could lead to the county facing lawsuits. The Super Bowl is coming up Sunday, and law enforcement statewide will be working to ensure people get to and from their big game parties safely. The annual Super Bowl week crackdown on dangerous and impaired drivers is underway and runs through Sunday. During last year's campaign, a total of almost 8,400 tickets were issued. Anyone who spots suspicious activity on the roads is asked to dial 911 immediately. And the It Ends With Us case is going to court. According to multiple reports, neither Blake Lively nor Justin Baldoni are expected to be present Monday. Lively accused Baldoni of sexual harassment during her movie's production and conducting a smear campaign against her by pushing stories branding her tone deaf in promoting the movie, and said she was difficult to work with. Baldoni filed a lawsuit against Lively and her husband, actor Ryan Reynolds, accusing them of civil extortion, defamation, and invasion of privacy. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 6:45. Here's your forecast.
Milder than we were 24 hours ago, but tomorrow morning's going to get a lot colder again. It's kind of been an up and down today. Temperatures will struggle to get to 30, and there might be a couple of snow showers, especially early with a gusty breeze. Tonight, 7 above, North Country below 0, sunshine, low 20s tomorrow. Some snow tomorrow night into Thursday, maybe a little bit of rain in the afternoon, especially late. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, it's 30 under cloudy skies at 6:46.
The new update on the on your iPhone went into play. Well, you might not even have it installed. It's available now, 18.3. And this is where it puts all of the artificial intelligence. It takes that next step towards making Siri a little smarter, Davey. It's pretty cool. You can now actually go into an app and do, like, for instance, you could in mid-sentence like this. Let me do this, Andrew. What's the weather like today?
Looks like it will be cloudy today.
What about tomorrow? That's the big thing right there. What about tomorrow? I said, what about tomorrow?
That's because you said the other stuff and it confused her.
It got all confused. I was using it yesterday, and it works pretty. We can even go to you can say, go to my photos and bring up a picture of us in Guatemala. And it brings up all these.
That's going to be huge.
Yeah, it's very helpful. You can also, you can get it to do all of these things that you have to do yourself. But as long as you ask for it, now the Siri will do it for you. So it's an update worth getting into. Today is Alice Cooper's birthday. He turns 77 years old today.
I was going to say.
Alice Cooper, 77. All right, coming up next hour, a special guest in studio. And then we'll take a bit of maybe a fence blocking any visuals, and bring Todd Carville, the DA, in the studio when the previous guest leaves. Fair enough. Davey has it all worked out. These two probably aren't going to come in contact with each other.
Okay.
We're good with that? Everybody's good?
Yeah, I mean,
okay, not you. I don't care about you.
I've sent the message.
Okay, good. That's what I care about.
So,
all right, coming up, we'll talk to Tanya Powers. Stand by. Temperature is going to be dropping as it's slowly moving downward as the day goes on. But it's fairly a mild start to the day right now here on your Tuesday morning.
Want selection on your next mattress? At Mattress Express, we have Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh and Lavish, and more. No one else in New York State has all these brands under one roof, open 7 days a week.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journey. Nokian Tires all-weather tires are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow, allowing you to forget the forecast so you can focus on the road ahead, not the road below. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. Find Nokian Tires all-weather tires at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com.
Warner Sales and Service, building relationships, building trust.
This is Lynn from Warner Sales and Service. Mow like a pro with Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers. Hustler mowers are designed to be maintenance and service-friendly for the everyday homeowner while not sacrificing the build and cut quality they're known for. Come see us at Warner Sales and Service on the Greenway New London Road in Rome, and we'll guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget.
Anthony Constantino. He's a local boy, a businessman, and a job creator, not a politician. He's the CEO of Sticker Mule. When he put the country's largest Vote for Trump sign on the roof of his building, the Democrat mayor threatened to put him in jail. But Anthony Constantino stood strong for free speech and Donald Trump. He refused to take down the sign. Now he's running for Congress to fill the seat being vacated by Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. Constantino will fight to put our missile defense at Fort Drum, to protect our apple and dairy farmers, and to bring jobs and affordable housing back to upstate New York. Urge your Republican and Conservative Party leaders to support Anthony Constantino in the upcoming special election.
I'm Anthony Constantino, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Constantino for Congress.
WIBX. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Richard this morning is up and rolling. He says, just want you to know, the weather for Wednesday night and Thursday doesn't look good. Wednesday night into Thursday does not look good, according to Richard. Richard also says he is not a big Trump fan. I don't think Canada and Mexico made any deal, but Trump realized he's making a huge mistake amongst many other mistakes. Trump is just making excuses. He's being wrong isn't in his him being wrong is not in his vocabulary, is what he says. That's Richard this morning. Richard, you don't want to get people going. Today you start saying stuff like that, you cause a fight at Thanksgiving. Luckily, Thanksgiving is months away, so you won't have to worry about it. Are you texting away at you are a major distraction?
It's related to what you've caused this morning.
Okay.
It's not in a bad way. It's just I'm handling it.
Okay. Tell them
it's going to be fine.
They're going to have to deal with it. And we'll deal with it.
They're not saying anything wrong with it.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So they figured out who the special guest is.
This person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you confirmed it with them.
Well,
probably not a good move right there. Now you're giving inside information to somebody on the outside.
Well, not particularly when you told me to tell the person.
Is that the person or is it another person?
No, that's this person.
Okay, fair enough. We're just going to make sure those two don't come in contact.
That is what I'm working on.
I mean, listen, you've been at the dinner table with your kids, right? Texting away with their thumbs, you know. You go and you start texting away with your index finger, and they're like, ugh. With your index finger. I
know, you do have a unique text.
What an oldie. I don't use my index. Sometimes I use my index finger when it's appropriate. Sometimes it is appropriate.
I've only ever seen you text that way.
Listen, you ought to see me with a thumb. You want to see me go with my thumb? I'm going to tell you. I'll be texting digits across your eyes. You won't even know what hit you. They say...
I'm looking at my phone.
They say old people text with their index finger.
Older people also have to move their text messages across because the font is so big.
Don't forget, I'm the one directing both of you what to do with your phone to make it work properly. So let's not forget that, Andrew. You wouldn't even be an Apple guy if it wasn't for me.
That is true. I will say that is true.
Okay, I want to go to Tanya Powers, who's standing by right now.
You got all upset. You're ignoring Tanya.
Good morning. No one ignores Tanya. Tanya, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
What I'm talking about, I don't know, do you have an iPhone? I believe you do. I think we've asked this question.
I have two of them, but yes.
Yeah.
So
she's a smart person.
You
no, it's because I have a work phone and a personal phone, and I have to keep an eye on both of them.
Sometimes she talks to people in stereo.
Yes.
Both ears.
That's it.
The 18.3 update came up yesterday, which means
I was also looking into that.
It takes the next step in intelligence. So Siri is a bit smarter today if you've made the update.
I have not made the update. I usually have to be dragged into the updates because I used to be an early adopter of the updates, and then there was a couple of times when there was like bugs in it, or it did something weird, and you immediately they had a patch, or there was a security thing. So I tend to kind of wait. It doesn't happen as much now, I don't think, but I guess I was kind of burned on it a long time ago, and I will tend to wait until to make sure everything's. Okay, do you have your act together? Is this the update? Okay, now I'll do it. But yeah,
so you don't have.
I just like to point out that folks of a certain age who probably text with their index fingers, they probably also had typing class and can probably type on a keyboard without using theirs.
Okay, they don't even look.
A whole lot better.
Although I am predominantly a thumb typer with my with texting, because. You can't. I mean, has anybody ever tried to text with your index finger using one hand? Try it. It's almost impossible. So
it works if you do the thing where you drag across the letters.
You're saying like
yes.
And I can't remember what it's called, but where you just basically take one finger and you spell out the word by dragging your finger from one letter to another, and it may pop up as the word you meant.
Yeah,
it may not.
It may not.
Yeah, it may not. Yeah, I haven't. I saw that as a tip yesterday when I was going through the new update, and I know that's been around for a while, but I've never really done it. So, nonetheless, the update is out there, and it can do things like go into your you can go into a specific app. Say you have a music app, you can ask to open a song, play a song from a specific music app, which is really kind of cool.
Interesting.
Anyway, Hegseth going to see the troops. He seemed to fit right in. What's your take on it? I know you have about a minute and a half.
Well, he went down to the southern border yesterday. He went to El Paso. There was, this was a big deal because it was his first trip down to the southern border since becoming the defense secretary. He joined the border czar Tom Homan down there. He talked to reporters. Matter of fact, I think this morning on Fox and Friends, they're airing an interview that Lawrence did with both of them. I think they held that until today. So there's new stuff coming out this morning on the air.
Right.
But Hegseth was talking about how this is a new era at the southern border. He called it a new era of determination. He said the Defense Department is proud to be part of that. He emphasized that rather than just focusing on foreign territory, that the administration wanted to focus first on U.S. sovereignty. He, referenced his fellow troops, his time in uniform and things like that, with saying, that the guys and gals of my generation have spent decades in foreign countries guarding other people's borders. It's about time we took care of our own border. That was a quote from him. This, of course, comes as over 1,500 troops have been sent down to the southern border already. The president deployed, the U.S. military down there the first day he was in office. So the DHS Secretary Kristi Noem was, she got to look at the border in Del Rio over the weekend.
Right.
So it's kind of a multi-pronged, cabinet position secretary, approach to this. The Secretary of State Marco Rubio is actually heading out on his first overseas trip. He's already on that trip to Latin America. He will be going to El Salvador, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Panama. There's different locations he'll be going, but issues do include migration, drug trafficking, that kind of thing. So again, this is sort of a theme that we're seeing with the immigration stuff from the Trump administration.
All right, every day there's something new, right? This is really it's moving fast. So all right, Tanya, we appreciate it always. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks.
All right, Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio.
Hey everyone, it's Lisa here from Fit Body Bootcamp. February is Heart Health Month, and we're here to remind you how important it is to take care of your heart. At Fit Body Bootcamp, we know that heart health is key to overall wellness, and we're proud to support Go Red for Women this month. Every workout you do strengthens not just your muscles, but also your heart. Whether it's breaking a sweat in a high-energy session or committing to a healthy lifestyle, small choices make a big impact. Let's come together this month and take care of our hearts. At Fit Body Bootcamp, we want you to live your best life.
It's AmeriQ Credit Union's 75th anniversary, and our new checking account rate is worth celebrating. For a limited time, open an AmeriQ high-rate checking and earn an unprecedented rate on the first $10,000 in your account. Celebrate with every grocery visit, every swipe, and everyone you know. Discover a rate worth celebrating and open a high-rate checking account today at ameriq.org/high-rate. Insured by NCUA.
I'll get into it. I'll get into it with you in a second. Don't tell anybody I said anything. Oh, we're live. Oh, my God. We're live. I want to tell you the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Daylight Donuts, just the most awesome coffee. It's Seattle's best, and it'll pick you up when you need to be picked up. Daylight Donuts is hiring. If you're looking for a new job, it's a great place to work. Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
China retaliates. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Hours after the U.S. imposed additional 10% tariffs on Chinese imports early this morning over the flow of deadly drug fentanyl into the U.S., Fox's Madeline Rivera reports China is
slapping a 15% tariff on coal and liquefied natural gas products, as well as a 10% tariff on crude oil, agricultural machinery, and large displacement cars coming from the U.S. China said it would also launch an investigation into Google to see if it's violated antitrust laws. The tariffs are expected to take effect on Monday, that is, unless President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping strike a deal.
The president did work out deals to delay tariffs on Mexico and Canada for a month after leaders of those countries agreed to do more to secure the southern and northern borders. As mass deportations ramp up for illegal immigrants who commit crimes or are security threats, Secretary of State Marco Rubio went to El Salvador and worked out a deal to send prisoners there.
This won't just apply to El Salvadorians who commit crimes in the United States. It'll apply to Americans as well, prisoners, in fact, of any nationality.
An act of extraordinary friendship to our country.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio hailing El Salvadorian President Nayib Bukele. President Bukele has agreed to accept illegal migrants and dangerous criminals the U.S. government wants to deport.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Now, sending American convicts to El Salvador's prisons would face legal challenges. President Trump will meet today with Israel's prime minister for talks about extending the ceasefire deal with Hamas in Gaza. As Israeli forces keep battling militants in the West Bank, 2 soldiers were killed today. There's a new cabinet secretary.
Let's vote. The ayes are 59, the nays are 38. The nominee is confirmed.
The Senate approving Chris Wright as energy secretary. Today, 2 controversial Trump nominees face key committee votes amid even some Republican skepticism. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for Health and Human Services Secretary, Tulsi Gabbard in line to be Director of National Intelligence. America's listening to Fox News.
There's not an occasion when you hear a statistic on the number of abortions occurring annually that your mind doesn't also think, how many babies' lives could have been saved? Preborn's network of clinics fights every day to save more babies. The number they've done so far in terms of saving is impressive over the last 2 decades. Over 300,000 unborn children brought into this world and saved. Preborn accomplishes this by introducing a mother to her child on ultrasound. When that happens, a baby's chance at life doubles. And that's not all. Preborn showers mothers and babies with assistance for up to 2 years. But they need your donations. One ultrasound is just $28, and $140 will help to rescue 5 babies. But any amount will help, and all your gifts to Preborn are tax deductible. To donate securely, dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, say baby, or go to preborn.com/buck. That's preborn.com/BUCK. Sponsored by Preborn.
There's a lot of focus on Elon Musk and the power he's wielding leading the new Department of Government Efficiency, moving to shut down the U.S. Agency for International Development, calling it spending beyond repair.
Texas Republican Congressman Pete Sessions told the Fox News Rundown podcast they need to understand more about President Trump's thinking here because USAID can, he said, be a valuable tool.
But I don't think we should confuse its existence with the way that it's running today,
which he says has been politicized. Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen said the president cannot unilaterally shut down USAID. He was joined by other Democrats on Capitol Hill.
It's not only a gift to our adversaries, but trying to shut down the Agency for International Development by executive order is plain illegal.
He accused Elon Musk of being in the pocket of the Chinese. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The Super Bowl is Sunday in New Orleans, just a little over a month after the New Year's terror attack that killed 14 people. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry says the game will be secure.
We went out and issued an executive order under which we created an enhanced security zone in the French Quarter, something that had not been done before.
As for the game, it'll be the Kansas City Chiefs trying to win a record third straight Super Bowl, facing the Philadelphia Eagles. Last night was media night.
For Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, he'll be playing in his 5th Super Bowl, but he isn't taking the opportunity for granted.
Every time I'm here at media night or on this football field in the Super Bowl, I'm going to appreciate those moments because you never know what will be your last one.
That was courtesy of the NFL. Along with the football talk, the Super Bowl always brings out some hard-hitting questions. Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce discussed his favorite dish made by girlfriend Taylor Swift.
Man, I'm a breakfast guy, man. Her Pop-Tarts are unbelievable, man. Homemade Pop-Tarts, unbelievable.
The Super Bowl gets underway Sunday, February 9th with kickoff scheduled for 6:30 Eastern, a game that can be seen on Fox. Joe Morgan, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are mixed the day after tariff-related selling. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 7:05. I'm Andrew Derminio. Right now, we're at 29 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. A Utica man is facing drug and other charges after an investigation into cocaine distribution in the city. Utica police say an investigator with the department's Special Investigations Unit was able to obtain contact information for 35-year-old James Scheiss of Utica on Friday to set up a narcotics buy. Immediately after, officers with the Crime Prevention Unit conducted a stop of Scheiss, who was charged with criminal possession of a controlled substance and other charges. He's expected to appear in court to answer the charges, according to police. A Mohawk Valley man is accused of promoting and possessing images related to child sexual exploitation. On January 24th, New York State Police units, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and the Gloversville Police Department arrested 37-year-old Jeremy M. Rhodes. The Gloversville man faces charges of promoting a sexual performance by a child and possessing a sexual performance by a child, both of which are felonies. His arrest followed an investigation and the execution of a search warrant at his home. The investigation originated from a cyber tip received from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Rhodes was arrested and processed before being taken to the Fulton County Correctional Facility to await arraignment. Onondaga County Sheriff Toby Shelley says there's only one circumstance where his office would hold undocumented immigrants in the county jail. During a news conference yesterday, Shelley said those individuals would only be held if he has a warrant signed by a judge. He also reiterated his stance that the department won't comply with detainer requests or warrants issued by ICE officials. Shelley believes following those requests could lead to the county facing lawsuits. The Super Bowl is coming up on Sunday, and law enforcement statewide will be working to ensure people get to and from the big game parties safely. The annual Super Bowl week crackdown on dangerous and impaired drivers is underway, and it runs through Sunday. During last year's campaign, a total of almost 8,400 tickets were issued. Anyone who spots suspicious activity on the roadway will be asked to dial 911 immediately. And some of the biggest names in music are returning to Central New York for the Outlaw Music Festival. Among the artists set to take the stage at Empower Federal Credit Union Amphitheater at Lakeview in Syracuse on August 10th are Willie Nelson and family, Bob Dylan, Waylon Payne, plus the Turnpike Troubadours. The Outlaw Music Festival began back in 2016 and is seen as a celebration of music. Seats go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. through Live Nation.
They did mention that there will be no handicap parking available as the artists have taken up all of that area.
That's very good, Bill. That's very good.
You know, it's a long walk.
WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:08.
Milder than we were 24 hours ago, but tomorrow morning's going to get a lot colder again. It's kind of been an up and down today. Temperatures will struggle to get to 30, and there might be a couple of snow showers, especially early with a gusty breeze. Tonight, 7 above, North Country below 0, sunshine, low 20s tomorrow. Some snow tomorrow night into Thursday, maybe a little bit of rain in the afternoon, especially late. I'm meteorologist Ray Stejcik from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now it's 29 degrees under cloudy skies at 7:09. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43, local contractors. The Chiefs are looking forward to a chance to accomplish something no team in NFL history has before them. Ugh. Kansas City's players, coaches, and refs address their coaches and players address their opportunity at a three-peat as they hit the stage at Super Bowl opening night at the Caesars Superdome on Monday.
The NFL's take on this, saying it is laughable that a referee could be pulling for Kansas City. Okay, did you see what happened in Major League Baseball yesterday?
I did not.
I believe an umpire was just suspended because on his, an umpire can gamble.
Yeah.
But they can't gamble on baseball. And Davey, if I'm correct, what happened? They gambled on, he had two friends who were partners in his
betting accounts, shared betting accounts.
And they were betting baseball. He wasn't technically, but they were.
He's been fired.
He has been fired.
Yep.
And I agree he should be, right?
It says right here, illegal sports betting accounts with a friend who's been on baseball for intentionally deleting messages key to investigation to his conduct for Pat Tolberg.
Yeah, see ya. Sorry.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
There was an NBA ref about 20 years ago, 15 years ago that went down. His whole thing was, they said, well, come on, he didn't cheat. I mean, what they do is it's these little, causing erosion with momentum erosion. This little picky.
Oh, you mean like all of the calls that went against the Bills?
I get it, but I am a firm believer that the Bills still should have won that game. Their play calling was horrific, just in two areas. It would almost make me wonder, what is the offensive coordinator? Have we dug into the offensive coordinator here? Well, if you're going to get down that road, why didn't he run Cook? Why did he keep running Josh Allen up the middle, going to the left over and over again when it wasn't working? One would have to wonder, right? As long as you're going to be suspicious. Now, I don't believe that, just for the record, Andrew. But what I will tell you is the Bills should have won. Forget about the refs.
Okay.
On the other hand,
I will not.
Those were some suspicious calls, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But it shouldn't have blown the game for Buffalo. But it did.
Gotcha.
And it did. And all season long, all I know is that Kansas City just kept winning games that were very, very close. And all season long, he's getting the roughing the passer call when he clearly was taking a fall.
Anyway,
Anything else?
Abbreviate sports, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says that these rumors are ridiculous.
Blah, blah.
It's a ridiculous theory. And Super Bowl will be Sunday. It'll be very safe. All that's
going to be perfect. All right, got a break. Coming up, the special guest. Now, I will tell you on YouTube, you will be the first to see who the special guest is.
Oh, yeah, sneak peek.
And we'll do that coming up next to WIBX.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares, The Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
Support America's greatest heart run and walk and the American Heart Association's life-saving mission through the 51st annual WIBX Heart Radiothon, sponsored by Slocum Dixon Medical Group. Listen to Keeler, Andrew, Megan, surprise guests, and those taking part in the Treadmill Challenge on March 7th as they raise money to promote heart health in the Mohawk Valley for 12 hours straight. Don't miss the action starting 6 a.m. Friday, March 7th on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, quickly, John in Bridgewater. What's he have to say? What is he saying?
Want some cheese with that wine, Mr. Bill?
I'm not. Listen, I'm saying the Bills blew it. They should have won that game.
Did.
Poor play calling. Josh Allen did everything he could possibly do to win that game.
I would only add the layer of there wouldn't be the pressure on Barry to to call some of those plays if they hadn't had their momentum crushed by the striped people.
The truth of the matter is, you should always expect calls that don't go your way.
All right.
Right? Trust me, I have to work with you. I expect it every day. All right. We said we have a special guest in studio, and I'm going to see if I can. I know that I have a shot, and you'll need to move that way just a little bit, and that'll be perfect. And I promise that YouTube would be able to see who's in first before anybody else gets to know anything. And sure enough, okay, there you go. In studio right now, Katie Aiello. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
It has been a while, Andrew. That middle mic is in my view. So we don't have a lot of time,
right?
So let's get back. You and I did speak yesterday.
Yep.
I do have to say, I called you out on what I once asked you. Do you know the Aiellos from Herkimer? Used to be a grocery store, Aiellos in Herkimer, as a matter of fact. And I'm friends with them in Herkimer. You said you were not related to them. You didn't know them. And then all of a sudden, all the Herkimer stuff popped up, and I just made that leap, thinking that you must be related to the Aiellos from Herkimer. Turns out,
I'm not.
You're not?
Nope.
Okay, so my apologies on that. And then we talked about the rest of it, not even worth getting into. But I do want to start off just with a few things that I want to tie up.
Okay.
The residency issue and the lawsuit, and you know the DA is coming in afterwards. I'm keeping the two of you apart just because it's a legal matter, and I don't want to muddy anything up. But your response on the residency is that you are in firm belief that dual residency is accepted in this situation.
Yes, that's the law.
Okay.
That is the law, and that's
where you stand.
That's where I stand.
And there will be those that will disagree with that.
That's fine. And if they do disagree, they can sue me in civil court, and we can hash it out with a judge there. This could have been squashed a long time ago, but that is the law.
However, bringing this lawsuit up does reopen the can of worms.
Not on me, but I think, from my point of view, it's exposing that how confusing it is for people. I think it's in part because of this 18-month investigation.
It does open the door for us to be able to have this issue brought back up.
That's fair.
Herkimer, the reason for Herkimer is your kids go to school in Herkimer.
Yeah,
which is very, very, the law is very specific, or the rules, if you will, are very specific, that you might have to have a primary residence in Herkimer in order for your kids to be able to go there without paying tuition.
For education law, yes.
For education. So that is that. And then we'll get into the audit in a second.
Okay.
But I know that you had a reason for wanting to come on here.
Yeah.
And it had to be a big reason for you to put all of this behind us.
It was, and thank you for taking my call. And it's a big deal to me of what happened this past Friday with the demotion of Dave Short. And I think it needs to be talked about, and I want to address it. But, he's been with the city since 1997. He was our DPW commissioner for over a decade. I'm obviously biased. I thought he did a great job. I didn't want to see him move from that position, but that's not why I'm upset. I narrowed it down to 3 things since I know we're short on time. But the first point is that it was a demotion. It was a cut in pay, 8% of his salary gone. But it was $7,000. They're saying, well, this position's worth less.
Annual $7,000 off his annual salary.
And I'm like, well, it can be worth less, but it's Dave Short. He's worth even more than what he used to make. And he's such an asset. Nobody ever just stops with all the resources they know. And I was frustrated because the mayor's not calling it what it is. It is a demotion. He made him stand for photos for it, made him sit there and watch his own demotion happen. And my point is to call it what it is. And then the second point is this demotion happened so he could promote his cousin, or his wife's cousin, rather. And as far as I know, Mark's qualified. He's a good guy.
I have to say, I like both of them, both of these people, which makes this very difficult.
We've had them both in, and they've been
and I think that
very
I don't
committed to their jobs.
Although one of them did not deliver the Keeler street sign that I had asked for quite some time ago. So
I want to say this isn't actually about Mark. He's been nothing but good to me. I think he's great for the city. This is about how the mayor handled Dave. So I do want to make that distinction.
So they're cousins by marriage.
His wife's cousin. Yes.
Okay. Probably should have been disclosed.
That's where I stand on it.
Come out in front of it.
I voted for Mark's promotion over a year ago when he was deputy commissioner.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything for a year. It wasn't hurting anybody. But now we're getting into this kind of murky situation, and I don't like what's happening. And this is just not how I would have treated a 27-year employee.
Have you spoken to the mayor?
Yes, I did. On Friday after E&A. A lot of this, it was weird because we already had our Tuesday meeting. Thursday, we get an email saying there's going to be a meeting tomorrow at noon. I go in. Dave's not in his seat. All of this is just dropped on us. He's going to be Commissioner of Parks and Recreation, which is a term we have not seen since Ed Hanna.
Yeah.
And it was it was all very last minute. And what the mayor was saying that this was his plan all along, but I'm like, why the last minute meeting? Why the random title? And I said, is this the full story? He did not say yes. Even a couple hours later, I went up to the mayor. I'm like, look, just do the right thing. I did make an amendment to restore his pay. The mayor flagged the room to tell everybody that's not what he wanted. He looked at Dave Short and he said, Dave, we agreed to this, right? Kind of mad that I'm asking questions. But of course, the man who works for you has to agree with you. I think that was wrong to bring him in that. I even went to the mayor afterwards, though. I said, just do the right thing. I won't say anything. And then they posted their decision on Facebook.
So when you voted for the promotion of Mark, was it with the idea that you thought maybe Dave would retire, or if the vote was that Mark was going to be in that position, what were you told that would happen to Dave?
This is more going back to even when he became the deputy commissioner last year.
Okay, I thought you meant you had voted for his
good distinction.
All right,
actually, that would be confusing. But that's
in this case the appointment or the change isn't something that had to be approved by the Common Council.
No,
right?
it's the mayor's prerogative.
Mayor's decision,
and I fully get that.
Did Dave support Celeste's friend in the mayor's election?
Dave's the least political person I know.
Yeah,
I don't think he said a thing.
Yeah,
I know he's our arborist.
I think Paul Buckley is the most.
Yeah, he's the most.
I should say the least.
Yes.
The most Switzerland.
The most
of all.
Swiss.
But when I was looking at this was handled differently, and you can just. When I was looking at what this was, my third issue is I believe this was done out of retaliation. And this
over what? Retaliation over what?
Dave, an employee went to Dave Short, had a concern. Dave relays that message to HR. A month later, he's demoted. I want to believe that the two are separate, but I don't at all. That's why I want to come on here. I've seen what these people do firsthand. If you speak up, there's consequences. And I can spot it a mile away.
What is the protocol if you're a department head and someone reports some sort of a wrongdoing to you, and you refer that to HR, is the proper protocol? Should you have notified the mayor's office before doing this?
Maybe socially, but I don't think that is actually what's in the handbook. I don't think anybody went about the rules the wrong way.
But you don't know exactly how that's supposed to.
No, I think it just says HR.
Yeah. Okay.
From what I remember,
right.
But I didn't look it up. I'll be honest. From before now.
So you're saying that the mayor is upset that Dave reported something to HR?
That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Doing it at this time, as abrupt as it is, he can come on and defend his stances, but these are also the other pieces of the puzzle that's not being talked about. And it's his prerogative. You can fire who you want. You can hire. You can demote. You can promote. But you do owe us an answer, and I think it should be the full answer. And you look at the press release, and that was another flag to me. I firmly believe the mayor was trying to send a message that if you don't align with us, if you speak out, there's consequences. Because we've never seen a press release for any of the appointments. The deputy engineer, the budget director, purchasing, but this was to send a message, and I think it was just wrong. And I think, especially now, we're seeing. I would have shut up about this a long time ago, but just give the man back his pay. It's Dave Short. There's no argument on that front to me.
Right.
But they keep claiming no. They're so stubborn in whatever punishment that they see, they can't concede. As far as I'm concerned, their integrity is worth $7,000 then. $90 million budget. When we're looking at $7,000, that's a drop in the bucket. And that's my concern. And of course, it's his prerogative, but he just owes us the full story.
We have the mayor on tomorrow, right? We hope to. Thursday.
Yeah.
So we'll obviously ask all of these questions. We're told the audit is out.
Again.
And you had posted, now your claim is that the link to an audit that you posted earlier is the exact same audit that is out now with the except of some text.
It's about 2 paragraphs on page 11 of it.
Okay.
Changed. And it's like this excerpt that you are allowed to, as the city.
So that's basically the framework.
Your own synopsis.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that had to be changed. That was changed. And you're saying the numbers, though.
Numbers never changed.
The numbers on the link that you provided before and the numbers of the audit today. Now, but I'm not sure that the audit will come out and say you should have had a tax increase or you should not have had a tax increase.
Yeah, that's where the audit's not that juicy.
Right.
We already knew the numbers actually.
Right.
And this confirms it and says, okay, our books were correct. But yeah, it doesn't say tax increase or decrease. But
Bill Morehouse yesterday told us he feels that it was warranted. And if he had his way, he'd look at another 10% tax increase coming up this year, although he said it probably will be somewhere in the range of 3 to 4%.
That was weird to me because I remember leading into the year, at the end of the year before the new mayor came in, he was saying, get ready, we could see a tax increase of maybe 6%, could be 8%. And we were kind of sweating at that thought. And then here comes the mayor with a 14%. So I disagree with what numbers are happening. But
would you disagree that there should be or will be a tax increase?
I don't think there should be.
Okay.
No. I know.
In your interpretation of the audit, if this is, because again, it's frustrating for Bill and I because we got people telling us one thing and other people telling us other things, and we don't know. I mean, I don't know what audit's real. I haven't been given anything. We just don't really know the truth. So let's break it down to this. In your interpretation of what you feel is the correct audit, do you feel the city's in a good financial place? And if so, and if not, why wouldn't a tax increase be warranted?
Yeah. I do think we're in a good financial place. That's because we have fiscal stress scores of 0 from the New York State Comptroller's Office 2 years in a row. Our credit ratings have boosted. They're all A's from the top 3 financial institutions. That's where when I heard financial crisis, I didn't buy it. Mm-hmm. Everything else says the opposite. And we're hearing 2 different things. One, it's that Palmieri overspent. But from what I see, this deficit, I even think the deficit is kind of blown out of proportion here. It was based on one-time retro payments for the firefighters. That's where a lot of it came from. So why are we taxing people every year moving forward for a one-time payment? But when we look, the audit numbers are the same. My biggest point with this was what they predicted the deficit was going to be at 1.9 million isn't what it was. It came in at 1.1 million. When I posted my video, the mayor said, no, this was accurate based off sound math and proper accounting. I said, No, that's 41% off. So still you can start there. So then his narrative changed to, well, I worked really hard to get this deficit down. I said, okay, that's not what you said the first time. But if you work so hard to get it down, how come there's two that I can find obvious revenue lines we're not charging, totaling $750,000? Things like ARPA, we're supposed to pay our police officers with that salary, $250,000. They left that account line zero. And yes, we had the money. So I'm just not buying it. And I think the numbers weren't what they wanted and they want to hide it.
Okay, so the potential of a tax increase, I believe yesterday, Bill Morehouse also said that they have there's a loan to cover operating expenses if
on
needed.
Standby.
For cash flow.
$5 million.
But if that's needed, then that's probably, it shows you got a fund balance shortage.
It's not a fund balance shortage. It really is just cash flow. We're going to get it back in, and that's where we're comfortable with taking that risk.
So it's a gap.
Yeah, I think, if, of course, healthcare is going to go up. That does every year. People are saying we haven't raised taxes in forever, but our sales tax has gone through the roof. It's phenomenal. A lot of that's to do with because if you order things now on Amazon, where you live is where that sales tax goes.
Yeah.
And also our cannabis sales tax, they called me crazy last year. I wanted to put $250,000 planning that we will receive from that 3% sales in the budget. They said, that's never happening. I said, okay, what about $150,000? They said, no. Year to date, the first 3 quarters, we've received $207,000. My biggest issue with this is, yes, expenses are going up, but they're not being realistic about the revenue.
All right. Anything else you want people to know?
I just felt very firmly that I had to come on here and talk about Dave, and I think we got to do what's right, and I hope the city stands with us that we will restore Dave's pay.
All right. We will obviously, as we said, we'll have the mayor on Thursday and possibly others tomorrow. We'll get this. We'll get some
one
answers
way or
here.
another.
Thank you for having me. I know it's been a while, and
so this won't be the last time.
Right.
Okay. Katie Ayala, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll break. Coming up, we'll do Hobica's free money question of the day. And then in studio, we'll speak with the district attorney, Todd Carville. A lot going on there. Katie, I have to say, you're not the Katie we will be talking about.
No, I heard you mess that up a couple times.
Yeah, I did.
Not me.
Apparently,
mix that up.
The appellate court got you out. So.
Yeah.
Thank you. Quick break. We'll come up with the DA in a second at WIBX.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
The President's Day sales are on at Mattress Express. Save up to $1,350 on names like Puffy, Purple, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, and more. Take 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers. No credit check payment plans available as well. Check out our new store in Auburn and our new staff in Oswego. Go to mattressexpressny.com. If you're considering a bed where you can pick a number on each side and make it soft or firm, compare to the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort only at Mattress Express. Compare price, compare features, and compare warranty. A 25-year industry-leading warranty with 45 individual settings on each side. Then 5 years, no interest, no money down for qualified buyers, and then you choose from a list of luxury rewards. Go to mattressexpressny.com for locations.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 7:33. I'm Andrew Derminio. Right now, we're at 29 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. Onondaga County Sheriff Toby Shelley says there's only one circumstance where his office will hold undocumented immigrants in the county jail. During a news conference yesterday, Shelley said those individuals would only be held if he has a warrant signed by a judge. He also reiterated his stance that the department won't comply with detainer requests or warrants issued by ICE officials. Shelley believes following those requests could lead to the county facing lawsuits. A Utica man is facing drug and other charges after an investigation into cocaine distribution in the city. According to Utica Police, an investigator with the department's Special Investigations Unit was able to obtain contact information for 35-year-old James Scheiss of Utica on Friday to set up a narcotics buy. Immediately after, officers with the Crime Prevention Unit conducted a stop of Scheiss, who was charged with criminal possession of a controlled substance in the third degree for weight and also criminal possession of a controlled substance in the third degree with intent to sell, among other charges. He's expected to appear in court to answer the charges at a later date. A Mohawk Valley man is accused of promoting and possessing images related to child sexual exploitation. On January 24th, New York State Police units, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and the Gloversville Police arrested 37-year-old Jeremy Rhodes. The Gloversville man faces charges of promoting a sexual performance by a child and possessing a sexual performance by a child, both of which are felonies. His arrest followed an investigation and the execution of a search warrant at his home. The investigation originated from a cyber tip received from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Rhodes was arrested and processed before being taken to the Fulton County Correctional Facility to await arraignment. And the region's rodents have mixed verdicts when it comes to predicting a long winter or early spring. Staten Island Chuck did not see his shadow Sunday morning, predicting warm.
Staten Island who?
Chuck.
Okay.
You never heard of him?
No.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's real.
This is the rival of Puxatawny Phil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a Staten Island guy.
Yeah. His name should be Tony, not Chuck. I don't get it.
That's discriminatory, Bill. The same verdict came from Lady Edwina, the resident groundhog at Turtleback Zoo in New Jersey, along with the Cluxatawny Henrietta, Westchester's weather predicting chicken.
Well, I have a woodchuck underneath a shed in my backyard, and I threw a head of lettuce out there on Friday. The lettuce is still there. The woodchuck has not come out from under the shed. So
that means more winter.
I don't know what the hell that means, but it's cold out is what it's basically saying.
Just a few others. Melville Mel and Holtzville Hale on Long Island predicted 6 more weeks of winter. That was in line with Punxsutawney in Pennsylvania. But experts say Staten Island Chuck has an 85% accuracy rate, while Phil's accuracy rate is just 35%.
Okay.
The loser. It's 7:37 now.
Milder than we were 24 hours ago, but tomorrow morning's going to get a lot colder again. It's kind of been an up and down today. Temperatures will struggle to get to 30, and there might be a couple of snow showers, especially early with a gusty breeze. Tonight, 7 above, North Country below 0, sunshine, low 20s tomorrow. Some snow tomorrow night into Thursday, maybe a little bit of rain in the afternoon, especially late. I'm meteorologist Ray Stijik from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, it's 29 degrees under cloudy skies at 7:37.
All right, Davey, Hobica's free money question of the day. We're moving fast here. How much money we talking about today?
$150.
$150. And
Caller 4.
Caller 4 right now at 315-736-0186. Your chance to win from Hobica and WIBX right now at WIBX. I'm kind of repetitive there. Sorry. And coming up, DA, the district attorney, is in, Todd Carville, and will speak on the issue of Caitlyn Conley. Coming right up at WIBX.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journey. Nokian Tires all-weather tires are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow, allowing you to forget the forecast, so you can focus on the road ahead, not the road below. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. Find Nokian Tires all-weather tires at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com.
Hey everyone, it's Lisa here from Fit Body Bootcamp. February is Heart Health Month, and we're here to remind you how important it is to take care of your heart. At Fit Body Bootcamp, we know that heart health is key to overall wellness, and we're proud to support Go Red for Women this month. Every workout you do strengthens not just your muscles, but also your heart. Whether it's breaking a sweat in a high-energy session or committing to a healthy lifestyle, small choices make a big impact. Let's come together this month and take care of our hearts. At Fit Body Bootcamp, we want you to live your best life.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, it's time to do Hobica's free money question of the day. Joseph and Andrew Hobica at 315-724-1600. The Hobica Law Firm. Dale is in Utica, ready to take a shot. Dale, good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. You know the rules. You'll have 7 seconds to answer the question. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. Don McLean's American Pie. Love that song.
It's a good
Long,
one.
too. Side 1, side 2, part 1, part 2. Yesterday was the anniversary of the plane crash killing Buddy Holly, and we talked about it. Waylon Jennings gave up his seat on the plane to what pop star at the time? Ready, go.
It's time to...
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the...
We're clicking now.
That's going to be a problem with the stream. Great.
I can't remember. I listened to that, too.
He gave it up to who was also a DJ and a pop star that did Hello, Baby, the Big Bopper.
Oh, the Big Bopper.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, it was there yesterday. Thought that was an easy $150 to give away. Hobica was a little rude to me yesterday, and I thought this is the way to get back at him. This is the way. Well, listen, we'll give you the all-in-one food and fun card. It's a $25 gift card. Good at Aquavino, Taylor and the Cook, Babes at the Odd, 72 Tavern and Grill, all of that. Davey's going to hook you up. All right.
So.
All right, stand by.
I'm wondering if...
Do a quick bumper.
And or if we should break, because I don't know that that'll be enough.
God almighty. 90-second quick break.
We'll be right back.
Make it a 30-second break. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Do it. Make it. Okay.
All right.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journey. Nokian Tires all-weather tires are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow, allowing you to forget the forecast so you can focus on the road ahead, not the road below. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. Find Nokian Tires all-weather tires at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Okay, and that means we're back. Portion of the program brought to you by Daylight Donuts in New Hartford, the official coffee of this radio program. And here we are. By the way, the answer to that was, the question was, yesterday's anniversary of the plane crash at Buddy Holly. Waylon Jennings gave up his seat to what pop star? He was also a DJ, Big Bopper. Big Bopper died in the crash, so did Richie Valens, and maybe one other, and Waylon Jennings went on to have a country career that was pretty big, and he drank a lot of alcohol. In studio right now is District Attorney for Oneida County, Todd Carville. Todd, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning,
Okay.
sir.
We are not going to touch any buttons, and hopefully we won't screw
Tie
this
my
up.
hands behind my back.
Okay. Obviously, I'm not even going to get into the KDIL stuff because I'm assuming you can't talk about it anyway.
That's correct.
Okay. So let's talk about what you can speak of in terms of Caitlyn Conley. Okay. We all kind of knew this was coming. In fact, I think I'd asked you a question about it a couple of weeks ago. And I don't think we're overly surprised based on what we had seen the appeal was. Do you agree with that?
I would say disappointed but not surprised based on the oral argument. You could tell the judges were kind of fixated on this issue.
It does seem odd. I can get a judge's signature and a court order to confiscate your phone, but I need another subpoena, another court order to be able to look at it. Has it always been that way?
It's evolved. And because of the time that this occurred, I think the practice was maybe a little different back then. We've kind of evolved into the present day where you seize it and or you have an application that allows you to seize and to search all in one.
So literally, imagine you can confiscate the car, but you can't look inside it. Same thing with a cell phone here. So that's the technicality. I'm also told that Caitlyn Conley may have discovered this on her own, that she was the librarian of the law library. I'm not sure if you know anything about that.
I do not.
All right.
Yeah.
She's been in jail for going on 7-8 years at this point.
Yes.
And you're put in a position where a whole bunch of evidence has just been eliminated from any possible future trial.
Right. So we need to evaluate what this decision means with respect to the cell phone evidence, and then there was comments made in the decision about statements that were made as a result of things that were found on that phone. So we really need to reevaluate and reassess what evidence is now, still viable.
Andrew, can you adjust the mic up just a little bit and get it a little, just a little bit closer?
Sorry about that.
All right. That puts you also in a very difficult position when it comes to a jury pool.
Yes.
Right.
With all of the different shows.
Documentaries and commentary and everything else. And people have formed opinions. I guess you could prosecute someone that, I mean, there are those cases that everybody knows what happened. And then what do? You just go after people that we know things, but we need to know that you will be fair in a trial. How do you do that?
Well, through jury selection, you try to determine if people can be fair and impartial during their deliberations. That's all we ask for. That's what we strive to get in a jury pool. Be able to put our case on with no bias and allow people to make the decision based on what they see in that courtroom and not what they brought in from the outside world.
Has there been any consideration of, if there was to be another trial, trying the case outside the area?
Those are things that we will bridges we will cross at that time.
But even that, I mean, it's hard to find an area in upstate New York that doesn't know this. Right. That doesn't know this story.
Well, with regard to the judge, would you have to bring in a judge from another county, given that Judge Nolan and Judge Bauer were on staff essentially during the time of the trial?
So yes, that the conflicts have already been raised with respect to their presiding over this, and so that's in the process.
Okay. On the other hand, based on we all have opinions today when we see stories of so and so was just sentenced to A, B, and C in prison, and we just found out they, based on good behavior, they're out after only how many years? So based on what the in New York State, what the going rate is, if you will. She's done 7 and a little bit years already. Time served. Would that be fair at this point?
It would not be fair for me to
I understand.
comment on any of that at this point.
I had to ask them.
I know you did.
I guess the two options, from her standpoint, would be. And again, I don't know that you can comment on this, but necessarily if she's acceptable with having that still conviction on her record, because I'd imagine with the appellate court decision and in her mind, it's not enough to be released. She wants to clear her name and not have this conviction on her record.
Well, if she were to plead, I'll let the DA.
If she were to plead to something similar with time already served, that doesn't really solve the problem of clearing her name, so to speak.
I'll comment on the actual procedure. Is that the appellate division's decision vacates the judgment of conviction.
So that would clear her name, basically.
And the indictment is considered dismissed because it was a murder indictment, and manslaughter was not a part of that indictment. And since she was convicted of a lesser included that was not part of the indictment, the indictment necessarily is dismissed. We would have to go before the grand jury again to secure a manslaughter indictment in order for her to be charged again, and then the process of pleading would all be,
So after I'm assuming you did you do exit interviews with jurors after the second trial?
So I was not a part of the case, so I can't speak to what was done by those prosecutors. But there's.
Do you know if there was?
I'm not sure at this point.
Okay,
I'm sure there was probably some.
Yeah, because it seemed like from what we were hearing after the fact is that this obviously was a hung jury in trial number 1, and it was tight in trial number 2. Now you remove evidence. You have years that have gone by. These are all things you're considering.
They are considerations.
Is the public exhausted from this to the point where
I'll let the public decide that. But.
Where a grand jury would be difficult to, they say it's easy to convict with a grand jury, but I'm not sure in this case.
No, our goal is to reevaluate the case based on the evidence that will be viable for us, and to determine whether or not there's legal sufficiency to go before the grand jury with that evidence.
Now I want to ask you a personal question, not just for you, but those in the office. This has got to be a tough blow because this is what this high profile documentaries, national news, a lot of local opinion. You have signs on family members' lawns
and beyond
saying you got the wrong person. So your office is very confident that this was tried properly. Those who investigated truly believe they got the right person here. And then this comes along. Emotionally, this has to be a blow to the office.
Sure. Anytime you put your heart and soul into something and you see it to fruition, and then it gets sent back to you, not on something you've done, but obviously, as everyone knows, it was the court found that there was ineffective assistance of counsel on the other side. So there's not it's nothing that we controlled.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to have to do it all over again, because it's a lot of time and energy that's put into this.
And I'm assuming speaking of emotion, I would imagine Chris Pelly is quite emotional over this as well. We've not been able to talk to him, and you wouldn't be able to answer that, but I'm just surmising here.
So
Andrew.
there's technically the two technicalities, or was it the technicality of, the ultimate decision to vacate the indictment and
because there are some incorrect media reports out there. Can you lay it down for us
essentially,
in layman's terms?
Was it the fact that the cell phone was gone into when it wasn't supposed to, or that Chris Pelly did not call that out?
So the appellate division decision is based upon the relief that you get through a 440 motion is for ineffective assistance of counsel. In stating that there was ineffective assistance of counsel for Ms. Conley was based upon the fact that neither attorney during the pendency of the case requested suppression of the warrant, which they opined in the decision would likely have been suppressed, the evidence from that phone, if they had simply requested a suppression of that cell phone evidence, because the warrant, they felt, only allowed for seizure and did not have the necessary particularity that is needed in a warrant to search the contents of the phone. And so they felt that one decision not to ask for suppression was so egregious that it constituted ineffective assistance of counsel, and therefore
because it ended up being used in the second trial, right? It was used in the second trial, but by law that was a part of the trial because it wasn't suppressed. This gets a bit in the weeds.
Yeah, the second trial, there was evidence that was presented regarding the cell phone and admissions made as a result of the search of the cell phone.
Does some of the responsibility fall on the prosecution? That you, I mean the office, the prosecution should have obtained that second search warrant, and that would have solved this whole problem.
And again, I don't know the genesis of that. I can tell you, as a matter of course, with my office, we request that all law enforcement agencies send us a search warrant so that we can review it and ensure that something like this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
This was not the first attempt at an appeal, though. Did the appellate court had a previous rejection or denial of the appeal?
And by the way, this moved very quickly.
Yes. So the first appeal was denied, and the conviction was affirmed after the first appeal. But this is a more specific issue regarding evidence outside the record for ineffective assistance of counsel that they chose not to consider in the first review of the case.
So I believe this was only she was only granted the ability to appeal in January, I think, right?
So the 440 motion was done, I believe, last year.
Okay.
And then there was a hearing, and then a decision by the judge, Judge Dwyer, and then that decision on the 440 was appealed to the appellate division for them to review the 440 decision.
Okay, and then she was able to submit the appeal, and again they moved pretty quickly.
Correct.
What happens today? So there's a hearing today.
Yeah. So today is a determination as to.
Are you going to act today? Would you make? Sorry to interrupt. Do you make the decision of what you're going to do? Call it quits. Rearrest. She posts bail. Then you cut a deal. I mean, there are a lot of different options here. Does that all have to be done today? But you're going to have to do something today, I'm assuming?
Sure. So today is the determination of whether or not she's released. And there's a couple, I believe there's options that the court needs to consider. Generally, it's a release based on the decision. However, because we were allowed leave to represent to the grand jury, there is wording in the CPL that allows for potential bail to be set and or remand for the individual during a 45-day period where we are allowed to go before the grand jury. So we will await the court's decision, and that will kind of determine, our actions in short order.
Does it weigh on you at all? We're afforded constitutional rights. You're innocent until proven guilty, speedy trial, double jeopardy, all of these things that now here's someone who has gone through trial number 1, hung jury. Trial number 2 ends up being convicted of manslaughter, now is out on appeal. How much more are you comfortable with? I guess. And I'm assuming all of what I just said has to be weighing on your office.
It is. My goal is always to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And so we search for the truth. And then from there we determine what can we do, what evidence can we provide to get to that truth. And we allow that to be what decides our movement.
Have you spoken to the Yoder family?
ADA Lisi, who handled the case, has spoken to them.
I'm sure the public pressure also is a mess.
I was going to ask what you learned from that, but you won't give me an answer. So.
This is Lanson Lee, who asks every guest we have questions, sometimes a little out there, but nonetheless, he has a few questions this morning. I'll put this as a two-parter. So who dropped the ball with the search warrants with the cell phone? And please ask, can Caitlyn sue the county now that her conviction has been overturned?
So on both those matters, again, I wasn't involved in the early set, so I can't tell you the genesis of the warrant and that. And again, this is a decision that's been made at this point, and as I told you, the procedure has kind of changed. With respect to the legal matter for Caitlyn Conley, again, I think it's way too early.
Sue for anything. You can
Right.
sue for anything, right? I mean,
as I know all too well. Yes.
Can she sue? Well, absolutely, she can.
Of course, she can.
I've been in a few of those myself. I think they can sue over anything. So, to be honest, this is a toughie.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people. There are a lot of people watching, nationally as well as locally. You do have, you have the victim's family. You have Caitlyn Conley's family. So there's a lot here to consider. I would assume.
There's a lot to consider. Yes.
Yeah.
But like every decision, I want to be informed of all of the information first before making that decision, and so that's what our office intends to do before deciding whether we're moving forward or not.
In a way, having the new DA run essentially a new office, that could be a factor, that it's totally different, new administration.
I guess it is, and as long as you bring that up, I have to ask, have you talked to Scott?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not spoken to him on this yet. He's on vacation. So.
He's on vacation. The
He's
rule,
going to stay as long as possible.
The rule is no electronics on this vacation, I believe. Because I know
come back and say what happened.
I know this was a very emotional. This is emotional for everybody during that time because there are a lot of people that felt like she did it or she didn't do it, and that can be frustrating. I think for everybody involved. So we really appreciate you coming on, and I will be. What time is the hearing today?
11:30.
11:30. We'll all be watching and listening and all of that. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
District Attorney Todd Carville.
From the Stanley Theater Studios, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
The U.S. punishes China, and it retaliates. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The economic sanctions President Trump promised are in place.
A 10% tariff on Chinese imports took effect shortly after midnight. The White House is seeking for Beijing to do more to curb the flow of fentanyl. They call this issue a drug war, not a trade war. So China, for now, has promised countermeasures, including a 10% tariff on crude oil and 15% tariff on coal and liquefied natural gas. This would take effect on the 10th unless a deal is made.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff reports from the White House. The president plans to talk to Chinese leader Xi Jinping soon. He did work out deals with the leaders of Mexico and Canada to delay tariffs on those imports for a month, as they both agreed to do more to secure the northern and southern borders. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt tells Fox.
Those were retaliatory tariffs for the last 4 years of treatment by Canada and Mexico of our nation. They have allowed an unprecedented wave of illegal deadly drugs and illegal criminals.
The U.S. has an ally in the mass deportations of illegal immigrants who commit crimes or are security threats, El Salvador. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says after talks with that country's president,
he has agreed to accept for deportation any illegal alien in the United States who is a criminal from any nationality, be they MS-13 or Tren de Aragua, and house them in his jails.
Rubio says he also offered to allow American convicts to be sent to El Salvador prisons. That would face legal challenges. There's a new member of the Trump cabinet. The Senate confirmed Chris Wright last night to be Energy Secretary. This morning, two more controversial nominees in focus.
The Senate Intelligence Committee will vote on Director of National Intelligence nominee Tulsi Gabbard, while the Senate Finance Committee will vote on Advancing Health and Human Services nominee Robert Kennedy Jr., with just one more Republican compared to Democrats on each committee. Losing just one vote from any committee Republican without help from Democrats would put each nomination in jeopardy.
Ryan Schmelz, America's listening to Fox News.
This Valentine's Day season, the team at Preborn invites you to become a heartbeat hero and share a love that saves lives. Every day, thousands of women are told the lie that abortion is their only option, that they can't do it. They can't bring their unborn child into this world. There's no hope. But when a pregnant mother sees her baby on an ultrasound at a Preborn Network clinic, it doubles her chance of choosing life. A mother hearing her baby's heartbeat, maybe for the first time, and realizing the precious gift growing inside of her is impactful beyond words. One Preborn supporter said, "Knowing my gift could save a life was the most meaningful act of love I could give." For $28, you can provide an ultrasound. $140 provides 5 ultrasounds. This Valentine's season, become a heartbeat hero. Dial pound 250 and say baby. That's pound 250 and say baby, or visit preborn.com/buck. That's preborn.com/BUCK. Sponsored by Preborn.
The ceasefire holds in Gaza, but Israel keeps battling Palestinian militants in the West Bank, and 2 Israeli soldiers were killed there today. Hours before Israel's prime minister becomes the first foreign leader to go to the White House for talks since the president started his second term.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet here with President Trump as a delicate ceasefire remains in place in Gaza. The president says he's not sure how long it will hold.
I've seen people brutalized. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. No, I have no guarantees that the peace is going to hold.
The president's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, who helped broker the hostage deal, says so far it is holding.
And that's the president's direction, to get the hostages out, save lives, and come to hopefully a peaceful settlement of it all.
Negotiations on a second phase of that deal began this week. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Crews will be back in the Potomac River today to remove more of the wreckage of the American Airlines regional jet that collided in midair last week with a U.S. Army helicopter. Assistant Washington, D.C. Fire Chief Gary Steen says yesterday
additional human remains were located. These remains, as well as remains that have been recovered previously, are in the process of being positively identified.
So far, 55 of the 67 people killed on both aircraft have been ID'd, and as they try to locate the last of the bodies today, black box recorders are being analyzed, trying to determine the cause of another plane crash in Philadelphia.
The medevac jet was carrying a pediatric patient and her mother back to Mexico after the little girl received life-saving care at Shriners Children's Hospital. The aircraft plummeted to the ground shortly after takeoff on Friday, killing the 6 people on board and 1 person in their car. And we learned the number of people injured has risen to 24, 2 of whom are in critical condition.
Fox's CB Cotton. On Wall Street, it's a mixed bag. Stock futures are down for the Dow, but up for the NASDAQ ahead of today's trading. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 8:05. I'm Andrew Derminio. Right now we have cloudy skies in Marcy and 26 degrees. Your full weather forecast is coming up. A Utica man is facing drug and other charges after an investigation into cocaine distribution in the city. Utica police say an investigator with the Department's Special Investigations Unit was able to obtain contact information for 35-year-old James Scheiss of Utica on Friday to set up a narcotics buy. Immediately after, officers with the Crime Prevention Unit conducted a stop of Scheiss, who was charged with criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree for weight, and also criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree with intent to sell, among other charges. He's expected to appear in court to answer the charges, according to police. Onondaga County Sheriff Toby Shelley says there's only one circumstance where his office will hold undocumented immigrants in the county jail. During a news conference yesterday, Shelley said those individuals would only be held if he has a warrant signed by a judge. He also reiterated his stance that the department won't comply with detainer requests or warrants issued by ICE officials. Shelley believes following those requests could lead to the county facing lawsuits. The Super Bowl is coming up Sunday, and law enforcement statewide will be working to ensure people get to and from their big game parties safely. The annual Super Bowl week crackdown on dangerous and impaired drivers is underway, and it runs through Sunday. During last year's campaign, a total of almost 8,400 tickets were issued. Anyone who spots suspicious activity on the roadways are asked to dial 911 immediately. The fallout from Friday's appellate court decision reversing the conviction of Caitlyn Conley is still fresh. And today she will face a court appearance at 11:30 to determine what is next for Caitlyn Conley. We just spoke with District Attorney Todd Carville, who has reiterated the fact that he is undecided on what his office will do. Again, we will cover that 11:30 court appearance and report on it following. And coming up this hour on First News with Keeler in the Morning, a voice you may have heard before if you watch Fox News. Jason Chaffetz, the former Utah congressman and now nationally syndicated radio show and podcaster, will join us this morning to talk about his new book and all the happenings in D.C. with the new Trump administration. Jason Chaffetz this morning at 8:16 right here on WIBX. Your forecast is from Ray Stajic of the Weather Channel.
Milder than we were 24 hours ago, but tomorrow morning's going to get a lot colder again. It's kind of been an up and down today. Temperatures will struggle to get to 30, and there might be a couple of snow showers, especially early with a gusty breeze. Tonight, 7 above, North Country below 0, sunshine, low 20s tomorrow. Some snow tomorrow night into Thursday, maybe a little bit of rain in the afternoon, especially late. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, it's cloudy and 26 degrees at 8:09. In sports, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're in New Orleans, and so are the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are bringing a healthy amount of swagger to the Big Easy for Super Bowl 59. The team took part in the traditional opening night media session Monday from Caesars Superdome. Philly is more than familiar with its opponent as Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are going for the league's first ever three-peat. Philadelphia fell to Kansas City in Super Bowl 57 to jumpstart Kansas City's quest for 3 straight titles. However, the Eagles are eyeing their second ever Lombardi trophy and feel they have the answers to stopping Mahomes' mania. Philadelphia lost by just 3 points when the sides squared off in Glendale 2 years ago. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell held his annual State of the League address Monday in New Orleans. He did his best to shut down the rumors that NFL officials are partial towards the Kansas City Chiefs, as well as announced that the league is considering adding a professional flag football league. Oh my God, snooze fest. Goodell called it a ridiculous theory that officials may make calls in favor of Kansas City and credited the competitiveness of the league for the team's close victories. The commissioner also said that the NFL is better because of diversity efforts, while doubling down on the league's commitment to inclusive hiring processes. And the NFL is touting its security ahead of Super Bowl 59. The league officials said on Monday that the safest place this weekend will be under the security umbrella around Caesars Superdome. The plan includes help from the Department of Homeland Security, which has dispatched nearly 500 FBI personnel in New Orleans to investigate and prevent threats. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 8:10.
All right, a couple of comments, and we have a bunch here. We also, in addition, this morning in the 8 o'clock hour, this hour, Jason Chaffetz, will speak with him, Congressman, and also Senator Joe Griffo. And there's a lot going on in New York right now, especially with the 21st race for Stefanik's seat. That is big. There's a lot there.
Do you want to get into some comments now?
Let's do some quickies.
Okay.
Just some quick ones. I have Mike. While I'm a bit of a traditionalist, I don't like the thought of old-time Utica politics going back to the Katie Aiello thing. Davey won the regular season NFL Pick'em. Who are you choosing, Davey, for the Puppy Bowl?
I'm picking the German Shepherd.
All right, the GS.
All right.
GS. All right, Andrew.
Well, there's a few. This is actually for Davey. Deeds in New Hartford. Guys, are we still getting Angel Reese?
Davey? Angel Reese is dating one of Davey's friends' friends.
Through Scott, a mutual friend through Scott.
Yeah. And that's where this
so
is all coming from.
Angel Reese is playing in a 3-on-3 league right now in Miami. From what I understand, there's a brief pause in the cause for her to come. And we are, as of Sunday, I am working on trying to get her to come here.
Okay. All right.
Wayne, that interview with Katie was like Tyson versus Paul. I expected more hate. No hate. What's going on? Rob said the same thing. What do you want us to do? Want me to fight her?
Yeah.
I mean, where are we going here? Rob says that was the most boring conversation between you and Katie Aiello. Well, you know,
we were letting her come in and speak her piece.
I don't know what to say about that. Yeah. And then in regards to the conversation about the budget in Utica, Rick says the key to municipal financial management is not how much money you have now, it's how much money you're going to have in 5 years. Municipalities over the last 3 years up until last year had access to huge amounts of federal funds that will no longer be available. This is big. So based on what they have now, what will they look like in 5 years, looking at the current salaries, benefits, and other expense trajectories? Something to think about.
So
now,
this is Rick saying...
Now it's where are you going to be in 5 years?
About the possible tax increase, that's what they're thinking about.
That's what you need to be thinking about now, okay?
Easy and Ilian, Utica cannot just throw money around because Katie says so. John in Bridgewater, hey, Bill, look what happened to Steve Barnes. The DA and sheriff were positive he was guilty. Well, 20 years in prison because they had to solve the case no matter what, just saying. Bill Morehouse during Katie's interview. I agree 1,000% with Katie. Shorty got screwed. I don't know if she misheard the numbers from my office or if she's purposely misquoting. It was probably just a misunderstanding. But the cannabis sales tax revenue after the third quarter is $107,000, just short of $108,000, not $207,000. If there's an extra $100,000 out there, I'd love to have it.
Just an aside there. I'm not sure he wanted all of that to be read on the air, but maybe.
I never know with him, but
you never know.
You know with how Bill Morehouse puts things out there.
He speaks his mind. There's no doubt about it.
And then this is from Samantha. Can I ask how an internal matter was told to her about HR? Did she foil that information? How did she get that information? Also, why did she vote for the budget? Also, did the city during that time use money that wasn't budgeted during the years to cover a bigger deficit through additional interfund transfers?
Coming up, we're going to speak with Congressman Jason Chaffetz, and that is going to be very interesting, especially with everything we have going on right now. It's coming right up.
Hey everyone, it's Lisa here from Fit Body Boot Camp. February is Heart Health Month, and we're here to remind you how important it is to take care of your heart. At Fit Body Boot Camp, we know that heart health is key to overall wellness, and we're proud to support Go Red for Women this month. Every workout you do strengthens not just your muscles, but also your heart. Whether it's breaking a sweat in a high-energy session or committing to a healthy lifestyle, small choices make a big impact. Let's come together this month and take care of our hearts. At Fit Body Boot Camp, we want you to live your best life.
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares. The Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Super Bowl 59 is on Westwood One.
The Philadelphia Eagles are headed to New Orleans.
Now the Chiefs are on the doorstep of history, going for a third consecutive Super Bowl.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Grant. Join Kevin Harlan, Kurt Warner, Laura Oakman, Gene Steratore, Devin McCourty, and me for all the action right here.
Catch the Chiefs take on the Eagles on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
That makes any sense? You know, you see all this all these national politics that are wreaking havoc with some people. Some love it, some don't. It's funny how local politics, it all comes right down to local politics. And here we have the same bickering and squabbling going on locally. It's politics, folks. That's just how it works. On the line right now, he is former congressman and regular on Fox News Channel, Congressman Jason Chaffetz. Good morning.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I enjoy watching you and your opinion over the years on Fox News Sunday and all of that.
And listen, I'm not going to tell Jimmy this, but he better watch out because when you fill in for him, it's pretty good.
I like filling in for Jimmy. Yeah, it's good.
Jimmy's been up here, I don't know, 6 times we've had him up here. I mean, we're one of the original markets that took that took his show, and we're really glad that we did.
He is just naturally a funny guy. You know, it's funny when I sit down with an interview with him, I have no idea what we're going to talk about, and it ends up going like 7 different places, and it's so fun.
I do enjoy too. He'll be the first to say if he's, he's not company line. He'll be the first to step up and say, "I don't think this is the right way we should be doing this," or. He has his own mind. I like that.
As he says, he calls balls and strikes.
Which I feel like you do, too.
Yes.
Let me say that.
Well, he does it with a flair that I wish I had, the quick wit that he has. But thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, your issue is once a congressman, always a congressman. And you can't avoid that as much as you might want to try it. So, first of all, there's a lot going on. I don't care if you're a Republican and 1,000% with Donald Trump, your head is still spinning. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, who thought we'd be talking about, El Salvador taking migrants into their prisons, dealing with the Panama Canal, tariffs. Yeah. I mean, the speed and the velocity and the breadth of what Donald Trump takes on a daily basis is truly amazing.
Yeah. I do want to ask you about USAID. I mean, obviously, Democrats are jumping on this. Does any of this make you a little uncomfortable?
No. Look, Marco Rubio's now the acting director of it. I do think we need to pause. Look, when I ran for Congress 2008, my first campaign, I ran ads talking about an $8 trillion debt. Well, now we're $36 trillion in debt, and something's got to give. And if you're not using the money in a judicious way to better the United States of America, you're going to have a pause, and you're going to have to look at it. And if you look at where some of the money has gone with USAID, it's mind-blowing. And look, as chairman of the Oversight Committee, I had multiple hearings about USAID and all the waste, the fraud, the abuse, the weird programs that they were doing. It's just, I'm glad they're doing it.
Yeah. Andrew.
With regard to the tariffs, again, we're hearing mixed reports, and it's kind of an interesting world that we live in now. Where
Trump had a really good day yesterday when you think about it.
Well, that's what I was saying is what actions are you aware of that Canada and Mexico are legitimately taking in response to the tariffs with regard to security at both the northern and southern border?
Well, look, Canada is going to now put, $1.3 billion to it. They're going to have their own border czar. We had nearly 200,000 deaths with fentanyl. 200,000. I mean, at what point do you say, okay, we're going to do something different here? So we get 10,000 more Border Patrol people in Canada. We're surging the borders each side. Mexico comes up with another 10,000. And, last week we didn't have that. So we got 24,000 other agents from Canada and Mexico, $1 billion+ from Canada. I think the president did the right thing.
And you believe he'll, hold back on or pull back on the tariffs if they hold up their end of the bargain?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You never know, right?
You never quite know. And you know what? They don't know either. And that's what but he's always negotiating. He's always thinking 3 steps ahead. And I think he makes a good point. The United States is the biggest market. And I heard him say something yesterday I wish more people would grab a hold of, and that is, he said, it's about reciprocity. If you treat us equally and fairly and we have the same reciprocal agreements, I have no problem. You're not going to get any tariffs. But if you're going to rip us off, you're not going to allow our banks, you're not going to allow our products into your country, then guess what, folks? We're going to put our own tariffs in place. And I think that's a smart move.
I was just searching for the name, and I wish I had it here, but you would know. He was an attorney under the Reagan administration, also had President Trump's ear, worked in the Trump administration the first time around, basically thought of as the author of tariffs, a big promoter of tariffs today. Anyway, over the weekend on Sunday programs, his claim is that it was 60 Minutes. You'll know who I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I can't come up with the name. His prediction is we could go as high as 50%, maybe 60% tariffs on China. Your thoughts on that?
Ooh, that sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
The president was speaking with President Xi this morning. We'll see how that goes. But the access to the Chinese market is nowhere close what we allow the Chinese to do in the United States of America. So how do you even it out? How do you balance it out? I think the president's committed to that. I don't know what that number is. And I don't look, we need the U.S. Trade Representative confirmed by Congress, confirmed by the Senate. Get that person in place so we can go at kind of line by line. You talk to the ag sector, very different than, you're talking to automobiles. It's very complicated.
Yeah. And boy, isn't it amazing when you look at the numbers in the last 15 years, the amount of manufacturing jobs we have lost in the United States. It's and through Republican and Democratic administrations, it's just mind-blowing.
Yeah, I interviewed a guy yesterday. We were talking about chips, and we were talking about NVIDIA, and we were talking about DeepSeek, and I'm like, why can't we build the chips here? Why can't we fabricate them there? I asked Governor Rick Perry, the former energy secretary for President Trump, I said, why can't we, refine oil in the United States? These are the basic things that we're going to have to do if we're going to be in control of our own destiny.
I want to say, here in our area of upstate New York, we have a corridor between Syracuse and Albany that is all about chip fab. And I think that we have workers yearning to get into this and to manufacture right here in upstate New York. And boy, we hope it happens because it could really be a big game changer for us up here.
Yeah, for the whole country.
For the whole country. I know you have to go. The Jason in the House podcast. Talk about that, which is incredibly informative and entertaining.
Well, go check it out. Jason in the House. A lot of guys that I served with in Congress and at Fox, they're running the world. So go have a look at that. I got another station I got to call into.
Thank you so much.
Bill, Andrew, thank you so much. Really do appreciate it.
Have a great day.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. That is Jason Chaffetz, and very, very, very interesting right there.
I always love that we keep him as long as we can, and he's very, very polite.
Let me just tell you something. If you've ever seen me in a restaurant, usually a fast food restaurant in particular, I'll order my Diet Pepsi, and I'm the one slurping to the point where it's bubbling up and making all the noise.
Yeah.
Every last ounce of that Diet Pepsi out of the cup. You got to do it. And if you don't, shame on you. Shame on you.
Before I forget yet again, and I apologize to Rick, who's a loyal listener, I do have to mention this. I was supposed to mention it yesterday, and I screwed up. A huge congrats to the 3rd and 4th grade team on an undefeated regular season, the Notre Dame Elementary girls basketball team, I believe. He's going to correct me if I'm wrong. A huge congrats to the undefeated season. They went on to win the final league championship Sunday against VBS with a final score of 31-23. These girls played their heart out all season, and even better as a team. Congrats to Coach Joe, Coach Elise, and the girls. I believe it's basketball.
Don Fountain, stand by. I'm going to get to you in just a minute. You're going to be very surprised when you hear this next story. And if you're buying online, you're going to be very surprised. I'll explain when we speak with Don, coming right up at WIBX.
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares, the Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
You're going to be, if you're doing any purchasing online, which is kind of a stupid statement this day and age, right? Because, I don't know, the Amazon truck might be down my street maybe 5-6 times a
Well,
day,
now you
it
can get
seems.
same day if you'd like, or next day.
I receive same day. But the same standards that are held when you shop somewhere else are not necessarily being held with some of these online companies. Don Fountain on the line right now. Don, good morning. Thank you so much for coming on.
I appreciate the invitation. Thank you.
So what are we learning here? I'm no big fan of government oversight, but every once in a while I'm a fan of government oversight because it can protect. When you're buying online, you might not know you're buying something that could be very ultimately found to be very dangerous.
That's right. Well, you should be a fan of the Consumer Product Safety Commission because they just did a major do-right for everybody in this country. On January 26th of this year, Amazon, the largest retailer in the world, is now involved directly in the safety matrix in this country. They're required to notify purchasers of defects and safety problems.
I hate to say, but you could be buying such garbage.
Oh, yeah.
And
How about if you go to
oftentimes
Temu?
Yeah. And when something goes wrong, I mean, listen, I just got a recall in the mail for my wife's vehicle. This isn't going to happen. You're not going to be notified if there's a problem with a product you just purchased on Amazon, but that is about to change.
That's right. And right now, if you wanted to go to Google and type in Amazon recall and safety alerts, there was a button there where you can say, check to see if anything I've purchased has a recall or a safety alert. Now, asterisk, it only goes back to things you purchased since 2024. But going forward, that's going to be a one-stop shop for you to look for defects.
That's a big deal. I mean, you may buy something that could start a fire in your home. And prior to this, you might never know unless there's some sort of a big story that shows up in the media where somebody is suing. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't know.
You're exactly right. Before this order became effective from the Consumer Product Safety Commission, Amazon took the position that they were just a delivery service, so they had no legal obligation to report these things. The Consumer Product Safety Commission litigated with Amazon for 4 years and said, no, you are a distributor, and that triggers the legal obligation to report defects.
I'm assuming this probably came from lawsuits where this all came to the attention of the government.
Yes. I mean, a lot of times things come where someone's injured and it comes up in that context. This is a little different. In 2021, the Consumer Product Safety Commission essentially sued Amazon. And they said, you have this obligation. You are a legal distributor and you have this responsibility. Amazon resisted. They litigated it for 4 years. And in January of 2024, the Consumer Product Safety Commission said, you are officially a legal distributor and have this obligation.
Yeah.
But they gave them a year to put the systems in place. So the notification system went into effect January 26th of 2025, just a few days ago.
All right. Again, you can click on that button to see if there's a safety issue or a recall. on your Amazon account. You can click on that. While it's not going to go back past 2024, at least going forward, and anything you bought in the last year will be included in that.
Yes, and you can also research other products on the Amazon website, even though it may not show up on your account. You can there's a listing there of all the products that have recalls or safety alerts.
Now, I would assume this also will be proactive. So if all of a sudden a product is on Amazon that is for sale, how does Amazon handle it when there's a product where you have a safety notice from the government? Does Amazon have the ability to pull the product? I know they have the ability, but do they have the mechanism in place to
or are they mandated to? Are they required to?
Will they pull the product?
Yes, and that's in this. The Consumer Product Safety Commission order is about 76 pages long, and it's all specified in there what their obligations are. But it does include notifying, pulling the product, and then refunding the consumer for those products.
Okay. This is, you would agree, this is big.
This is very big because Amazon is the largest in the world. And, their systems are so incredible. They know when you're running low on shampoo. Hey, you need some shampoo. So if they can do that to sell things, they can certainly do that to warn us.
And, there are products even like shampoo that may cause health issues, and you're putting it on your body and you have no idea. So this is government doing good work, I would say. It is possible,
Absolutely.
Don. It's possible government can do good work.
It certainly is, and this is an example of it, I believe.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Don.
All right, my pleasure. Thank you,
Have
sir.
a great day, Don Fountain. And that little button is on your Amazon right now. You're able to click it.
I'm glad I know
All
now.
right. Coming up, Senator Joe Griffo. We'll get right to it. There's a lot to talk about here, especially when we're looking at Elise Stefanik's seat. Everybody's saying, why has the vote not occurred? Why has she not been confirmed? There is a reason, and I don't know what's going to happen. We'll speak with Senator Griffo coming right up.
Anthony Constantino. He's a local boy, a businessman, and a job creator, not a politician. He's the CEO of Sticker Mule. When he put the country's largest Vote for Trump sign on the roof of his building, the Democrat mayor threatened to put him in jail. But Anthony Constantino stood strong for free speech and Donald Trump. He refused to take down the sign. Now he's running for Congress to fill the seat being vacated by Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. Constantino will fight to put our missile defense at Fort Drum, to protect our apple and dairy farmers, and to bring jobs and affordable housing back to upstate New York. Urge your Republican and Conservative Party leaders to support Anthony Constantino in the upcoming special election.
I'm Anthony Constantino, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Constantino for Congress.
Hi, Jeff Moyer here from Trailer Marketing Services, Route 233 in Clinton, New York.
Our family-owned and operated company knows everything about our products and will point you toward the perfect vehicle for your needs. Whether you need a dump trailer or have to haul a car, snowmobiles, or any cargo, we have the right brand for you. Don't settle for less than the best when you're shopping for a new trailer.
We have over 300 units in stock, discounted and ready to go today. So come see us at Route 233 in Clinton, New York, or shop online at trailermarketingservices.com.
Let's face it, no one looks forward to hiring contractors to work on their home. The mess, the hassle, the back and forth, but it's all part of the process, right? Wrong.
Scott and Jill here at New York Sash, where we give you the smoothest, the cleanest, the most painless window, siding, bath, or door renovations in Central New York. We call it our worry-free remodeling.
We understand the dread usually associated with home remodels, over-budget products, behind-schedule installations, outside financing hiccups, and we say, no way.
Instead, we're a full-service remodeler to make your project that much easier. We handle everything from initial design to financing, and we never outsource our installations with subcontractors. We use only full-time New York Sash employees. We even have our own service department to stand behind our warranties.
Home remodeling doesn't have to be a stressful experience. At New York Sash, it's anything but. For windows, siding, baths, or doors, call New York Sash at 624-7344 or online at newyorksash.com.
It's AmeriQ Credit Union's 75th anniversary, and our new checking account rate is worth celebrating. For a limited time, open an AmeriQ High Rate checking and earn an unprecedented rate on your first $10,000. Get started at ameriq.org/high rate.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Good, because I have live CNN. Hey, I want to tell you, portions of the program brought to you by the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Accepting new patients right now, the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. We were at dinner the other night, and friends we saw who we'd recommended here on the radio, the Falcon Clinic, she said, my husband and I are so happy that you recommended Falcon Clinic. We're going there. We love both Dr. Zielinski and Dr. Shemileski, and they have done wonders for us. And, you know, they were going elsewhere and just running into a brick wall. Today, everything is so paperwork. And in this case, they still do paperwork, but you're getting a thorough examination. They're digging in to find out what ails you and to keep you healthy. That's also extremely important. Call the Falcon Clinic today, 315-507-4751, and schedule an appointment. Okay, Lucia on the line right now. Lucy, I have to tell you, maybe I'll have some time at the end, but right now we're struggling with time. Obviously, we had a day and a half today. But if you would for me, would you introduce Senator Griffo for me? He's coming up next, and I'm going to have you like Don Pardo used to do back in the day. A nice introduction.
Griffo. It's something like that.
Go ahead. Introducing Joe Griffo. Here you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best in the world, Senator Joe Griffo. He's number one. He's very helpful. He's done everything for us. And we're lucky to have him and continue to support him.
All right, there you go. All right, Lucy, thank you. Go back into the stands with the crowd. Thank you. Here he is, Senator Joe Griffo. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you, Lucia. I appreciate that. Very kind of her. I think you actually, Bill, I kind of mentioned to you, maybe you ought to do your own version of The View, and Lucia would be a great panelist on that, right?
Yes.
She'd be Whoopi.
Yes, I think you had
Cordelia,
Ann, and Lucia.
Yeah. Two more. And Lance and Lee, if he ever shows his face.
Well, no, I think the three of them would be able to. And I said that Cordelia would probably be more of the peacemaker. And
what about Kathy? We can't forget Kathy.
Kathy could be in there too.
Kathy in Rome.
I think she'd be nervous about Ann in Rome and Lucia going at it. That would scare me. Because they're both very tough personalities that know how to get the job done. And isn't that what we need more of in Albany, Joe, right?
Most certainly we do, William. Yeah. So good morning to you all. I know there's a lot going on, a lot on your mind, and it's a little crazy here in the Capitol already, and it's not even March Madness.
So one of the things that's interesting, it's not often that we talk to you about congressional issues, but this one is a congressional issue, and the state is playing a role. So as of right now, we're still waiting for, and I know there are several potential candidates who've been courting the chair people around the state in the district of Illy Stefanik, looking to be the next candidate for that seat in a special election. We expected the special election to happen end of March, maybe early April. But now we're getting word that maybe Democrats are going to play some games in order to slow down President Trump's agenda. What trickery are we looking at here, Joe?
Well, it's funny, we were talking about the consumer product safety and defective products. This is really an example of a defective policy that they're trying to implement right now. We all have an interest in the listening area relative to this particular issue because the 21st includes northern Oneida County now, the city of Rome and some of the towns. So there is a regional interest, but a direct impact on our county. And when you talk about some of the military issues like the future of Air Force Research Lab, things of that nature, the member of Congress becomes very important. So I think there's a reason that we need to call attention to this. And the law is specific right now. We do have law on the books that we have followed for a long time. In fact, the governor benefited from this when they had a special election and she was elected to Congress back in 2012. And essentially what the law says is that once there's a vacancy in a office for Congress, a member who steps down, then the governor has up to 10 days to issue a proclamation for a special election. The process for the special election is unique. In this case, the parties designate, so there's no opportunity for filing petitions to have primaries, things of that nature, because it's designated as a special election. And then from the governor's declaration, whenever the day she decides from first day to the 10th day, she can wait no longer than 10 days. From then, the election has to be held no sooner than 70 days, but no later than 80 days. So that's how this process has worked for a long time. And now suddenly they're talking about changing this process. The concern that I have, as well as many of our local leaders, the mayors, the county executive, many organizations, good government groups, are saying now you're playing politics with the representation of the people. And we could be disenfranchised as a community because we may not have a member of Congress until the end of June. Now, the governor's trying to say, and the majority's here, that this is being done for cost savings and efficiency to encourage more people to come out. But that's ridiculous. I mean, we could go 6 months without a member of Congress. And when you look at some of the rules and regulations and the new laws that they've imposed that have put financial burdens on local government, this is nonsense. It's just purely, it's a blatant political move because they have the ability and the power to do it. And then it just messes with the national politic right now because they know there's a razor-thin majority in the House of Representatives. And if you can take out a couple of majority members right now or wait before someone is elected into those positions, it works to their benefit.
Well, Joe, and it certainly telegraphs their confidence or lack thereof for a Democrat winning that seat.
That's a good indicator, obviously. I think.
Well, I don't think a Democrat has a shot.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
You're right. Anything can happen. I get it. And
and
just
you
look
had
at
a Democrat up
AOC
there a long time ago.
Although it wasn't changing party, but who would have thought she would have had a chance? Anything can happen. There was a Democrat there years ago, though, right?
Correct. Up in the North Country, his name was Owens. Bill Owens. He was the member of Congress actually before Congresswoman Stefanik. So there's, you can't ever say never it's going to happen, but I think the enrollment benefits, as you see in many districts, they lean one way or another, and this obviously leans more towards the Republican enrollment advantage. However, like you said, anything can happen.
Here's what is interesting. So now a vote did not happen yesterday, right? Will it possibly happen today? What's the expectation?
It's unlikely. We're hearing that they've paused now, and I think it's been fortunate because many of us have gone out and sounded the alarm that this is wrong and this is purely politics at its worst. Not worried about the interest of the people, but more of the political party. And so they're on pause, but I don't think this is going to detract them. They're going to continue to move in this direction. I think they're just trying to figure out things, how they sell this, but it's not going to be sold because, like I said, it's defective and precedent and laws exist. And that you're hearing, though, to their credit, I was worried and basically urging many of these good government groups, editorial boards to step up now and sound off because they do this normally, and they many times they've been silent. And they are stepping up now, and I think this is actually at least calling attention to this, putting it in the spotlight, and we'll see what happens. But my guess would be that we'll see this by the end of this week or early next week.
Or here's another part of this. Right now, we're still waiting on the confirmation vote for Elise Stefanik. That is being delayed. Nobody can seem to understand why. Well, now we know why. But, I mean, the Republicans could hold back, keep Stefanik in Congress longer than they had planned, but that leaves basically your career political people running the ambassadorship. So, I mean, Democrats might walk away from this saying our net gain is going to be very minimal here. It's not worth doing. I'm not sure they will do that. What are your thoughts on this possible scenario?
Well, that's kind of an interesting scenario. And presidents have had, not only do they have the ability, but they have chosen nominees for their cabinet or the White House team in the future from members of Congress on both sides of the aisle. And when you look at the position of UN ambassador, I'm sure that the Congresswoman is very anxious to get there, and there is definitely a need there. But as you indicated, I think when you look at the mix in Washington right now and the need to get things done, too, so you don't have gridlock, that doesn't serve anyone's interest, whether you agree or disagree with the direction the people have spoken last fall.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's an interest to move forward. I think they're trying to gauge what that means. Now, I do not know how long you have. She has been obviously referred from committee to the Senate as a whole for confirmation consideration. So that vote can be scheduled based upon the Senate Majority Leader there. And I'm sure they're having conversations to determine how to best make that work. But there is a need, obviously, to have her in her position at the UN, too. And I know she is probably very anxious to do that.
It is funny. Yesterday I was searching for some Stefanik stuff as we were writing a story about this. And I found a couple things. I found Claudia Tenney ripping on Donald Trump, saying he should not be anywhere near the White House. But that was before he was elected. Stefanik, however, I got with her criticizing Trump about a year into his presidency. It's funny how politics change, because she might today be one of his most loyal supporters in Congress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that she's probably, and that's evidenced by the fact that he's chosen her to serve as UN ambassador.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is just my concern, though, is you can't leave the people without representation intentionally. If something were to go awry and something happened, some unfortunate situation or circumstance, that's understandable. But in this particular instance, it's like the people be damned, and we'll just do what we have to do to pursue a political agenda. And I think that's wrong. And it's really brazen when you look at it, because this is a reflection of the one-party control here, where they can do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do. But it's not always in the best interest of the people. And you will probably see litigation if this continues to move forward, too. We're seeing a lot of litigation in the courts now as a result of policy.
Okay. I'm assuming if I asked you for a prediction as to what was going to happen, I'm not sure we know how this is all going to play out. Do you agree?
No, you're right. But I would think right now the way it would happen is if they change this law, and I don't know exactly what they're going to do to change it to their advantage. I think right now, if things were to move forward, you would have a special election probably early April, as you indicated. Based on a resignation coming now, the governor taking up to 10 days and then having 70 to 80 days from there. So you just look at the calendar. On the other hand, if they do it this way, they're going to try to sell it as having it on primary day.
Right. Well, they're going to say we're already so deep into the spring, so close to primary day, we might as well save the money and do it on primary day.
Right, exactly. And that obviously also draws out a lot of people, from their particular political apparatus and party, because if there's other primaries going on, for instance, in the city of New York, there could be a mayoral primary, which will bring, there are a couple open seats down there that obviously it depends whether or not more people come out in early spring or the beginning of summer. So it's interesting when you look at the dynamic that way. But the ultimate concern should be here. That part I understand, and you get this kind of political chess being played. But you can't leave people disenfranchised, particularly when there's unique and significant needs from a federal perspective in a community. And that's the concern I have, to think that 15 counties will not have a member of Congress for 6 months is ridiculous.
Well, do you think that that President Trump will delay, the Congress will delay confirming, the Senate will delay confirming Elise Stefanik, at least for a little while? You don't think so? I think that position, the ambassador to the UN at this time in world history, is a pretty important position.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think you'll see that. But, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what takes place here over the next few days and how it all plays out, both locally and nationally.
both locally and nationally. Yeah, there's a lot going on. All right, Senator, as always, we appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk again real soon.
Look forward to talking to you guys.
All right,
Take
thanks.
care.
Senator.
All right, Senator.
Joe Griffo. As Lucia said, she called him the greatest man on the planet.
In the world.
Second to Donald Trump.
Oh, second. She's second too? She said that?
I think she might have. Did she say that?
I don't think
even
so.
know. Steve Punny Mazda, new Mazda sales event is back. And listen, it's the beginning of February. This is still the new year. And look at the deals. Over 150 new Mazdas available on the lot. Save on a new Mazda lease and enjoy 0.9% APR financing on new 2025 Mazda CX-30s, 5s, 50s, 70s, and CX-90s. See Rick or anybody at the dealership for details. As Ricky Z says, let's make your deal on a new Mazda from the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. We'll take some calls. What a morning. What a morning this has been. And we'll just kind of take a breather and reflect on all of it with fondness.
Let's do that.
Coming right up at WIBX.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journey. Nokian Tires all-weather tires are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow, allowing you to forget the forecast so you can focus on the road ahead, not the road below. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. Find Nokian Tires all-weather tires at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com.
The President's Day sales are on at Mattress Express. Save up to $1,350 on names like Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, Stearns & Foster, Purple, and Puffy. Go to mattressexpressny.com for locations.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Good God. Hey, if you're looking and wondering, boy, what is going on in Herkimer County right now, there's a website you can go to that will assist you. In fact, if you're from Herkimer County and you have an event that is going on that you would like advertised, you can easily do so by going to herkimercountyny.gov. There you'll find all of what's going on, things that are coming up, events that are happening in the area. And you know, wintertime, we're still in the midst of it. If you're looking for adventure, this is the place. In Herkimer County, slopes of Macaulay Mountain are there and have plenty of new, fresh snow. Explore hundreds of miles of scenic, well-groomed snowmobile trails to try ice fishing, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, and, we have reached, especially in the North Country, we have gone over that 200-inch mark.
Wow.
Of snow for the first time in a long time. And did you know that Herkimer County's website is where you can announce your upcoming event? Herkimer County, where history, commerce, and beauty collide. It is all happening in Herkimer County.
It is indeed.
And quite a morning.
It has been. We're getting some complimentary comments.
I hate that. It's boring. Bring out the haters.
Bring out the haters.
Bring out the haters.
I don't know that what he's saying is too hateful. I know sometimes Lance is not a fan of ours.
I just want to say this. We started with Tanya Powers. Katie Aiello came in for the first time in over a year.
That was surprising even to me.
With some accusations. We'll deal with the mayor on that and get his take on all of it. Todd Carville, the Utica County DA, with the conviction being overturned of Caitlyn Conley. That hearing will happen at 11:30. We'll have coverage of it today for you. After that, Hobica's free money question of the day, which happened before, actually. And I thought we were going to give away money there, and we didn't.
No.
Jason Chaffetz, former congressman.
Really good interview with him.
Fox News contributor, and Senator Joe Griffo. It has been a stellar morning with a lot going on in the area. A lot of things that are really happening all week long. I said this is a really, if you were to look at a news week over the course of the last year, this is one. Sometimes you get that one big issue that hits and, it consumes us. Major issues, whether it be national or local. And this is like a couple of those really big isures.
Yeah. Sprinkle with a few other little ones.
Previously with some new information and resolution. And you're right. Sprinkle in some new stuff.
We've got comments from Lance. Unfortunately, New York City makes the rules. Our local representatives don't stand a chance. And does anyone know if Ray Meyer moved to Canada yet? I hope someone has at least done a welfare check.
Listen, I am in complete disagreement with a comment like that. Listen, Ray Meyer has been a strong conservative for this area and upstate New York and for Republicans. The fact that I don't understand how we've gotten to a point where if you don't agree with Donald Trump and you're a Republican, that you're a rhino, you're a traitor, you're a I mean, what has gone on the hold that this guy has? Are you your own people anymore? Are you able to make your own decisions, or do you look to see what Donald Trump thinks and then you're like, this is how I'll think? I'm going to think. I now know how to think. I don't have to think anymore because I'm just going to do exactly what he does. Come on. Ray Meyer served this community. Give me a break, Lance and Lee, which isn't even your real name.
It's from Lee now.
Yeah,
it's actually
man.
From Lee in Lee.
I mean, and you know what? And here's the other part of this. Damn it. And I'm right. I'm absolutely
Ray was
right.
very bothered by Trump and the
I understand that,
prospect of his
but so all of a sudden he's not a Republican. Republicans can't disagree anymore.
Oh no,
give me a
think
freaking
they
break. What is this? We want this to be a dictatorship where there's only one way of thinking? Wrong. Listen, the guy served his community, and to say he's a liberal or whatever you want to call him because he doesn't agree is just ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Half these Trump supporters used to be Democrats. You know who I'm talking about. So come on, people. Have your own mind. You can disagree with the current president and not be the enemy of the current president. You may not agree on all of his policies. I like his policies. I just wish he wouldn't talk so much.
Here's a
whatever
cliffhanger.
It might be. Whatever it might be. That's all I'm saying.
Cliffhanger, he said, who said I'm a Trumper?
I'm only saying, based on your comment. And I got to go. We have news next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Canada and Mexico avoided tariffs. China did not. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After midnight, President Trump imposed additional 10% tariffs on Chinese imports, citing the flow of the deadly drug fentanyl into the U.S. Republican Congressman Mark Begich tells Fox.
What Donald Trump is doing is standing up for America and Americans, and he's putting the people of America first.
China's retaliating with 15% tariffs on American coal and liquefied natural gas, 10% on crude oil, farm equipment, and some U.S. vehicles to take effect Monday. But the president did work out a deal to delay tariffs on Canada and Mexico.
By sending 10,000 Mexican troops to the U.S. border, Mexico's president delayed tariffs by a month. Canada's prime minister says they're implementing our $1.3 billion border plan, sending nearly 10,000 frontline personnel to the northern border, appointing a fentanyl czar, and so proposed tariffs will be paused for at least 30 days.
Fox's Peter Ducey. El Salvador is going to help the U.S. with mass deportations of illegal immigrants. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, after holding talks there, says El Salvador's president agreed to accept any migrants from any country, and
he has offered to house in his jails dangerous American criminals.
That would face legal challenges. President Trump will meet later today with Israel's prime minister, talking about extending the ceasefire in Gaza, but Israel's still battling Palestinian militants in the West Bank.
A man opened fire on Israeli troops at a checkpoint near Taysir in the Jordan Valley. His initial target was a soldier coming out of a fortified bunker. 2 Israeli soldiers died and 8 were wounded. The attacker was also shot dead.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The morning after the Senate confirmed Chris Wright to be Energy Secretary, 2 committees will consider Tulsi